Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late. 15 minutes late to be exact. Technology has been whooping me this evening. So, um, how's everybody doing this evening? Where'd my chat go? Tell you what, restore chat. And we're off. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Brandon, Sandy, MSL Logging, Josh Wellner, Barry Hansen, James Bergeron. Who else we got? Cat J Bird, Josh Wellner, Jimmy's Tractor, Richard Savalio. So thanks for your patience, everybody. What I'm trying to do, or what I was trying to do, is get Randy with G4 on here with me. I haven't had him on a stream for quite a while. I keep sending him invites and he's not getting them. So I don't know what's going on with it. There. G4, what kind of shenanigans are you trying to pull off here? I'm trying to get you on here, Randy. Let's add him again, see what happens. Invite. Invitation posted, Randy. Let's see. Brandon asks, how's the RAM leveling kit? It's installed. I like it. It was actually relatively easy to put it in. I went with the 2-inch Tough Country. Rough Country makes a 2.5, but I didn't want it. I didn't want it sitting completely level because I still tow with it. G4. I'm just not responding to him. Keep trying. Josh Weller, oh, someone's got the bug that's going around. All right. Before we get too in depth into anything, first and foremost, happy Veterans Day to all of those veterans out there, and thank you guys for your service, guys and gals. Thanks for your service to our country. I wanted to get that in there. That's pretty important today. My brother's a veteran. He was in the Air Force. So let's see. Victor the Ripper. Got a question. Was the purpose of holding your load? Okay, so hey, there's Elite Earthworks. How you doing, Elite? When you're holding your load, like booming down and holding your load, what that does is it keeps the piece at a relatively consistent height off the deck and just takes it further from the crane. A lot of times they'll want to like place a piece just a little bit further away from them or a little closer to the crane and keep it at consistent elevation. So that's what booming down or booming up and holding your load. It's actually booming down and cabling up, or booming up and cabling down. It's just everybody's kind of termed it holding your load. So, all right, let's see what's up, everybody. G4 is freezing out. My cutoff is 40 degrees. Dickard with Dave, how are you doing? Nib 4x4, how are you? James Bergeron, stepdad's a veteran. Let's see. Looks like we're getting all the usuals rolling in. Maybe a few new ones here and there. And I want to welcome all the new subscribers to the channel. I think I've picked up probably 100 or so in the last 2 weeks, or right around there. JB98. Randy, have you still not gotten an invite? Let's try again. Project Ninja, how are you doing? MSL loading. Thank you. I just subbed you. Just kidding, been subbed. That's funny. So, what do you guys want to talk about? I got some footage I need to get edited. We actually put the jib in yesterday. There's a couple pictures on Instagram, and I have an Instagram to the top crane on there. So if you are on Instagram and you want to see some jib pictures, they're on there. But I've also got a little bit of footage of putting the jib in. Still got to edit that. What else do I have? I've got, believe it or not, I have another tank video. Yeah, this has been the year for setting tanks for sure. James Bergeron said he saw the pictures on Instagram. Let's see. Randy says, grab the Google Hangout page, copy that address, then put it in our Google conversation. Okay, let's see how that works out. If this crashes my live stream, it's Randy with GeForce fault. Just throwing that out there. Oh, wrong button, Jimmy. Okay, so Randy's calling me now on here. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing with it. Let's see. I got to get my chat lined out again now since I'm still trying to get Randy on here. Let's do live chat. All right, let me back up to some of the questions here. Victor the Ripper says, did you animate your intro? I want to pay you to do some digital designs for me. I did animate my intro, and it was relatively easy to do in HitFilm Express. I haven't tried it on, I'm using Adobe Premiere now. I haven't tried it on that. But it's relatively easy. My intro, actually, my logo was designed by my sister-in-law, and she sent it to me. I think she did it on Microsoft Paint, if I'm not mistaken. And then I just animated it using HitFilm Express. But you don't need to pay me. The thing is, I mean, if you want to email me your whatever you want me to animate and tell me what you want to do, I will eventually get around to it. But we are still really busy at work, so I'm not sure how soon I'd get to it. Okay, let's see. Brandon asks, what brand of tools do you guys use at your shop? Our shop tool set's just a bunch of Craftsman stuff and some SK stuff. At home, I primarily have nothing but Snap-on and Matco. Richard Cephalio, he's occupied at the mall. Don't press the X. I saw your paracord belt, James Bergeron. I saw that on Instagram. Miss logging. Ooh, I'm blue. The late Earthworks, do you need me to show you how? I think it's on Randy's end. I don't know what's going on with Randy's Hangouts. Victor the Ripper says, no, just wondering, you never saw my drawing on Instagram, huh? Actually, I think I completely forgot to go to your Instagram, to be honest. My apologies. Random tacos. Let's see. JB98 must be nice to make Snap-on money. I've acquired the Snap-on stuff over many, many years. So it makes a big difference when you spread it out. Nib 4x4, who does your ANSI or whatever it is? I have to have one done on my UP railroad truck every year. We send our trucks to just a local truck shop and have it done. I think it's Kenworth or someplace. The annual crane inspection is done by a company out of Kansas City. Jeff Skews, hey Crane, this is a lot friendlier than where I just was. I'm not sure where you just were. How you doing, Alex? West Coast Alex. Snow's flying there. We got some snow here the other day. I think 2 inches maybe. It was cold. Yesterday morning it was 10 degrees. Tomorrow morning it's supposed to be 13. And the older I get, the more I hate the cold. Victor's Ripper, I was thinking how hard it is getting a digital art game. That Victor the Ripper, that probably took me a couple hours to animate that and playing around with it. Jeff Skews MSL channel was the boss knows best. I've never heard of that one. John Warren says, Happy Veterans Day, Jimmy. I'm not a veteran. My brother is a veteran, but I am not a veteran. I've never served in the armed forces. Von Heels, Ron Pratt's latest video with a dump truck got me thinking, are there special precautions you have to take when picking up unbalanced loads? Absolutely. The biggest thing is trying to get over the center of gravity so it doesn't do a whole lot of shifting or sliding around. That's the biggest trick with trying to grab something that's uneven. Hammerhead 2336, subscribe to your channel. Congratulations. Hey, thanks, Hammerhead. It's still growing. It's growing consistently. According to Social Blade, I add an average of 10 a day. But I don't know. I think I've added about 100 in the last 2 weeks. Jeff Skews, you don't want to go there. I'll take your word for it. I won't go there. Jason Heltzley, how are you doing, Jason? MSL logging. Let's see. Sandy says that trash truck job must have smelled horrible. And Ron Pratt's trash truck video, he posted it and then must have taken it down and then reposted it. I think he reposted it today. I don't know if he had something in there he had to edit out or what. 1913, how are you doing tonight? I've had a pretty busy weekend. I had to work yesterday, and then today I've been working on my basement. Victor's Ripper, you never served, and we had to ask you to shave your beard. That's stolen valor reserved for former SEAL Team 6 members. Well, I didn't realize that having a beard was stolen valor, but I'm not shaving my beard. I can't believe I trimmed it all off from what I had. And my wife just made the comment the other day. She said, your beard's starting to get long again. Are you gonna trim it? Like, I don't know. G4 says, didn't watch the second one. It looked like the other, just like the other one, copy and paste. Jimmy's tractor must have went on my Social Blade. Says shows 70 subs in the last 2 weeks. I did break 100,000 views just after the last live stream. Barry Hansen says that, so Ron Pratt's video is 4 minutes shorter. So he must have taken something out of it. Wayne Tharp, how are you doing? Videos by Al. Videos by Al, I have my basement flooded. I've got septic here at my house, and the line between the house and the septic tank plugged up. And and my wife did about 7 loads of laundry that day, and all the laundry water came up through the floor drain in the basement. Let's see, it was cold Friday morning. It was definitely cold. Just you said couldn't get the heat valve on the Mac open. It's open now. Well, that's good. 1913 says let it grow. I mean, if I wouldn't have shaved it before, it would be probably down to about here now. John Warren said he did edit it because it showed the company's name. The only thing you saw different, like the trash company's name, or was it because Ron Pratt's company name's all over his channel? Jimmy's Tractor, as long as just laundry water. The thing is since it came out of the floor drain, the insurance company treated it like sewage. So they had ServPro come to our house, and they cut all the sheetrock off 2 feet above the floor, ripped out all of the pre-hung doors. I've got kind of a kitchen/bar area in my basement. They took all the cabinetry out of that, all the carpet, gutted a bathroom. So it was a mess. And I've got a pretty sizable basement in this house. Let's see. I'm trying to think what the square footage of my basement is. My basement's up about 1,400 square feet, and it affected pretty much all of that. G4 says copy and paste that link one more time. Last try. All right, let's see what happens. Let's copy. Let's go here. Still trying to get Randy on here. Hey, there's Randy. I can see him on my Hangout. But
I got to push the button in order for that volume to come back on. That is how you copy and paste.
But you're not showing up on YouTube, I don't think.
Yes, I am. I see myself.
There you are.
Quite a bit of lag from Google to there. Close this out. Move this over here. Move this over here. How's everybody doing? My name is Randy from G4 Outdoors. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, everybody had to have a little patience with us. I was 15 minutes late getting on my stream because of Randy.
Because of me. All right.
Okay, now let me get caught back up on comments here. Did I install a septic alarm? I have not yet, but I check that thing religiously, and I've ran all the wiring and everything for the septic alarm. I just need to get it installed.
Barry, how you doing? Killing any deer? That's more on Jimmy's side. I don't even know. Jimmy, do you even still hunt deer?
I haven't been deer hunting for about 3 years now.
That's something I've gotten away from, I think. Yeah, last time I went deer hunting was with you quite a while ago. I shot that 19-pointer. You remember
that? My father-in-law shot a 19-pointer and gave it to Randy. But my father-in-law was the deer hunting whisperer.
Brandon, what's going on? I'm listening to your videos. I don't comment too much, but I do. I hear my name pop up every now and then. Jason, the fishing days are pretty close to over for me. Went on a fishing trip to Oklahoma. Some videos are coming out on that. I hope you guys have watched one of them. Kind of a long video. It's really hard to edit a personal video, something that means a lot to you. It's hard to edit those videos to make it interesting for other people. So it's kind of long, but tons of fish were caught in 2 days.
Yeah, you're still holding out on me too. Randy's got white bass fillets in his freezer. His dad even confirmed that.
No,
And
he's lying.
he hasn't given me any.
20-pound bass. Yeah, that was caught that on 4-pound test on a micro light rod and reel. Sandy. Yep.
Yeah, whatever. Oh man, it's getting deep in here, isn't it? You know, the two things that lie the most is a fisherman and a husband that came home late.
Yeah.
Hammerhead calls BS. I call BS also. Jason Huxley, he said he could send me some catfish fillets. If you want to make a road trip over here, why don't you just bring them with you? We'll hang out, cook some fish, and kill a weekend.
I do have quite a bit of catfish in the freezer.
I've got no fish in the freezer.
Sandy caught a boat from a kayak once. Oh, no, wait a minute. That was a nasty surprise. I actually caught a kayak from a boat one time. That's a true story.
Huh. Jason works a lot. How are you doing, Jason? Comrades? He's probably into the vodkas. So I'm actually surprised I got Randy on. I figured he was in
New Mexico?
Or wherever it is that you got sent with the railroad. I figured you were working.
No, I was in New Mexico building a wall.
What?
Yeah.
You're full of crap. Barry Hansen said, fishermen go to the supermarket before going home.
That's something I've never done.
What's that? Stop at the grocery store on the way home?
Yeah. I've thought about it a couple times.
Oh, I'm going to cover something real quick. Well, we've got, what, 41 people watching right now? I think that's what it's showing. This axe. Oh, stretch. That's a long stretch for a fat guy. Okay, we're going to do this axe right after Thanksgiving. So everybody be prepared for that. And Randy, do you even know what I'm doing with it?
You are auctioning that, and there was some debate on what you were actually going to do with the funds, but I don't remember.
Okay, so I got an email. I don't remember who sent me the email. But I got an email from somebody, and they were wanting me to do like an online raffle. Well, I did some studying on that, and unfortunately, in some states, an online raffle is considered online gambling, and it's illegal. So you guys, if you're in one of those states, you wouldn't be able to partake in it. So the only way I've been able to think of a way to come up with this, or to do this axe deal, is to do like a silent auction. And I know that's going to cut some people out because, you know, there's not a lot of people that could put a bunch of money towards something like this. But that's the only way I know to do it. And I think what I'm going to do is have everybody that wants to partake just send an email to me with their highest bid. Once I open all the emails and find out what the highest bid is, I'll notify that person, and they will have to transfer that money to PayPal, and then I will take a check to 98.9 The Rock and donate it for Hope for the Holidays.
Hope for the holidays. I remember that now. Another consideration you might want to try is Venmo. VENMO.
VENMO. What's that?
It's a subsidiary of PayPal that makes things just a little bit easier in a way. I don't know. There's two options there. You can do Venmo or PayPal. Both are actually, with the Venmo, you don't get charged to transfer funds from people to people. On PayPal, there's a little bit of a charge.
Gotcha. Okay, and that was Cat Jaybird says, "What's the bidding start?" I'm not going to have an opening bid on it. But that's why I was bringing it up tonight. Is I want to get your guys' take on it and see if anybody else has got any better suggestions on how I can go about this. And Venmo, I will definitely check Venmo out. because another site I checked, they did just an online auction similar to eBay, but it was a private auction, and they wanted $250 just to set it up. I'm like, I'm not going to give you guys $250 for something that might only generate $250. I don't know. So,
why not just put it on eBay?
because eBay takes 10%.
Wow,
Yeah.
that I didn't know.
Cat Jaybird says, what about a GoFundMe page? Doesn't GoFundMe even take money out? I'm not sure how that works. But I'll check into that. That's a good idea too, Kat.
Let's see. I follow you on Instagram, and you have train videos. Have you posted any train videos lately?
Jimmy's Tractor says, I think if it's not profit, you're okay. Yeah, so I've got a couple weeks to get it figured out. And then also wanted to let everybody know the way my live streams are falling is if I do one 2 weeks from today, it's going to be the weekend after Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be able to do a live stream then. So I will do one the following week. Hammerhead says, what's the money going towards again? In Kansas City, Missouri, which is one of our local radio stations, there is a radio show in the mornings called the Johnny Dare Show.
It's on 98.9 FM in Kansas City.
Yep, 98.9 The Rock. You can actually listen to it online as well. But what they do around the holiday season is they do Hope for the Holidays. And what it is families that are down on their luck, like lost a loved one, lost a job, are having trouble paying their utilities, or they have a vehicle that's down and out, or they have kids that they can't provide a Christmas for. Basically, people that have always made it, but then something catastrophic happened and it derailed them. So they write into the radio station, or someone writes in on their behalf, and the radio station will ask for donations from people, and they will pay their utilities. They will get their vehicles fixed. They will give them groceries and whatnot through the local Price Chopper grocery stores. But it's all handled from the radio station to like the utility company, or the radio station to the grocery store. No money goes into the hands of the people. It's all handled outside of them. So it's not something that they could take advantage of. And it's not like the radio station's going to go give them $2,000 and, hey, this is going to fix your problems. They don't do that. They fix their problems outside of the person.
There's a good idea. Facebook. And most of those letters and whatnots have been turned into hopes for the holidays. Most of those are vetted. I've seen a lot of charity cases to where I can't even think of what it is. I know there was a family in St. Joe that got a pretty good Christmas that did not deserve a good Christmas. So Hope for the Holidays does a lot better job at picking the people that deserve. Yeah, they actually check them out. I shouldn't say deserve, but people that are not faking their not so well-being.
Yeah. They do the research. 98.9 definitely does the research and vets them. Mike Manfred, how are you doing, Mike? So, Randy, was that Tanya I heard in the background?
Twas.
Hi, Tanya.
Hello, James.
She can hear me, huh?
I got the computer on and the good mic. Yep.
So how is it that you're okay? So you can listen to me through your computer speakers, but we're not getting a bunch of reverb.
Correct.
Well, how'd you do that?
I have no idea.
Oh.
You thought I was going to tell you I knew, didn't you?
I thought.
Did I look serious when I said that?
Let's see.
No, the mic is hooked into the computer, so I imagine there's some smarts going on there somewhere.
Probably so. So Sandy sent me a link I don't want to click on it because it might jack up my live stream, but I'll send it to my email and I'll check it out. And that email is tothetopcrane@gmail.com.
How to get a rod out of a cylinder. I'd say if the rod was already in the cylinder, it's probably bad. There's no reason to take it out. Just buy a new one.
It's probably a hydraulic cylinder. And they probably shot it out with air, and it probably destroyed everything in its path. I'm just going to speculate.
You mean like a kind of pop out?
Yeah, typically it's more than a pop out. I've seen one actually stick in a cinder block wall before.
Yeah, you are right. Last job I worked at, there was a hydraulic cylinder that some guy was testing it with air, and it popped out, punched him in his face. It was a cylinder about yay big. Popped out, hit him right here, went up, hit the ceiling, hit the wall, and then went out another window. I don't remember his name.
Jason Workslot said, had a guy do that with a bandsaw and tensioner cylinder for D6 dozer. Scary day. I had a stupid attack one time back in the day where I
Just
once, actually several times, but I was cutting apart a tensioner from a mini excavator because I wanted to use the spring for something else, and I had the assembly in a vise with the nut facing up, and I was cutting the nut off with a torch, and when it let go, there was a big steel plate on top of the spring, and then the nut and a washer on top of that steel plate. When it finally let go, it shot the steel plate through a light fixture above me and through the roof of RSC. That was the equipment rental company I worked for. Shot it through the roof, and I never found it. So I don't know how much tension was on that thing, but it was a lot. I mean, it was a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch steel plate, probably 4 inches by 6 inches, right through the roof.
Jason, no, I've never heard of it. I've been to a lot of lands between lakes, but no, I've never specifically heard of land between the lakes.
Let's see. Cat Jaybird says, what's the name of the charity? It is Hope for the Holidays on 98.9 The Rock. Victor the Ripper says, how much does a used link belt LX engine go for? I don't have a clue. I can't even throw out a number because I'd be lying to you. Sandy sent me the link. I accidentally used his work email, but I'll have it shortly. All right. Well, I'll check it out. I'm sure it involves compressed air.
The axe head that's showing up right next to your shirt.
Yes.
Is there a chip in that?
What, this? It is old. This thing's like from the 1800s old.
Oh, they didn't profile or anything?
No, I think they sharpened it with a file and rehandled it with an oak handle. And it is...
I was going to say, is it branded by anybody?
It's a True Temper Flint Edge Kelly Works.
Kelly Works.
Yep.
Made out of where?
I don't know. Wherever Kelly Works was.
Don't you have a Google person in your Hangouts? I have one.
I do have a Google person in my Hangouts. Jimmy's Tractor, if he's on there somewhere, is probably Googling it as we speak.
I work for Union Pacific, Nebraska 4x4.
MSL logging trade back. Gonna go wrestle the kids in bed. All right, MSL. If you don't make it back, thanks for coming in and hug those babies. They don't stay that way very long. James Berger, I saw a picture last night of a guy who got his beard ripped off with an angle grinder. That would be no good. Von Heels. Never seen a cylinder blow apart like that, but I've seen the end blown off an empty propane tank. Woo! Because the genius rigging the tank decided he needed to smoke. That'd be scary.
You've had to run in with a oxyacetylene balloon before, haven't you?
Allegedly. That I may have had one go off in my hands.
Where is Sandy from?
I'm not sure.
Her is Sandy a boy or a girl? Male or female?
Sure.
Or ASL? Yeah, that's what it is.
Mike Manfred, Florida. There you go, Florida. I should have known that.
Florida. All right. On this side of the coast. All right. I'm in mid-Missouri. I'm right next door to Jimmy, actually. Yeah, class ones are getting ridiculous. It's all about the bottom line. Sandy is a dude. Yeah, it's all about the bottom line, and it's all about the stockholders, the shareholders. They just don't care. I mean, when I say they don't care, they really don't care about their employees anymore. It's all about the bottom line. Terrible.
A lot of places are getting to that. Randy, your picture's dark.
Um,
You've done that on purpose because you don't want to show anybody your face, or what?
yeah, I already forgot the word, and I already had it planned out to talk about it, but I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, my bad. Sorry for interrupting you.
Turn that off.
Let's see. Looks like Kelly Axe Manufacturing was started in Kentucky.
Oh, cool.
And then Sean says Kelly was the founder of Axe Company that acquired by True Timber. Okay. Hey, Chris DeBow, how are you doing?
Ooh, there's a smart one. Yes, the precision railroading is coming along. 2 thumbs up. It is. They're killing the railroad. I mean, okay. Precision railroading is not precision railroading. That's just a name that some guy came up with to appease the shareholders. They did it with the CSX, and they almost bankrupted the CSX. And now that same person brought that theory over to Union Pacific, and we're going to try it again because, as you know, if it doesn't work once, try it again. Something else might happen, but it's not happening. It's falling right into the same stuff. They're wanting to shut down. My goodness, they're cutting off close to 500 employees like right now, and that's all management. So there's a whole bunch of feuds between management and employees on what rules, what's supposed to be what. And yeah, there's a large portion of Kansas City that's going to be shut down here shortly if they keep on this track.
Let's see, Chris Conkle vlogs. How are you doing? That's a new one to the channel, and I've watched some of his stuff as well. He does a lot. He does construction vlogs. Let's see, to the crane all the way out the end of the boom and trolley for maintenance. We're all doing good. How are you doing, Chris?
And Sandy, yes, I believe that we are in a world of hurt. Luckily, I hired out at a pretty good time. My seniority is pretty good. I've only got 13 years left to work, so I hope I'm good and in good standing. If I'm not in good standing, then the United States is not in a good standing.
Chris DeBo's tired. Let's see, Jason Heltzley emailed me a link to the article. Thanks for sending me that. I'll check it out after the live stream.
That's Hammerhead. They're cutting 500 out of management and contractors. Most of that will come from UP management. Though.
Well, aren't you glad you're not a UP manager?
Yeah, I've always been glad of that. They're treated like dogs.
Yeah, that's why I just run a crane. I just pull levers. Chris Conkle Vlog says, I'm great, brother. Not in the loop here, but seems like some new legislation or cutbacks are in the works. They're talking about railroad stuff. There must be a lot of railroaders cruising around on my channel. Some pretty knowledgeable railroaders on here.
Yeah, a little more knowledge on there than what I expected to see.
I've got a pretty diverse subscriber base.
Yeah, 4x4 says they already made the cuts. If you haven't been affected yet, you won't. No, they're still in the process. They've got, I think it's 450, but I'm just going to say 500 for the ease of it. But then I just made that into a long story. So, no, they're still cutting jobs.
Chris Conkle, oh yes, for sure. Railroads and oil pipelines, crazy stuff. I've worked on pipelines, and I'm not cut out for pipelining. That's some boring work. Drive 60 feet, stop. Drive 60 feet, stop. I mean, that not my thing. Of course, I say that, and I sit in a crane sometimes for 10 hours and never do anything but stare out the window.
I do that sometimes too. Just sit. And no, I haven't seen the footage from the, I thought it was Washington, but Australia about a week ago. No, I haven't seen that.
Barry Hanson's in New Zealand.
I was going to mention that, Hammer, but I didn't know if everybody would leave. Free giveaway on Wade's channel.
Wade just went live. Not sure if he's drinking or not. It's all right. Wade has gone live a few times when I was doing my live stream, and I'll lose 5 or 6 or 7 people for a little bit, and then they'll come back over. Some have said that he's a little too animated for him to stay tuned in for very long. But I've also had people tell me that I needed to be more animated. Like, you sound too serious when you're on camera. I'm like, well, when I'm in a crane, it's pretty serious stuff. So I don't know. What do you think, Randy?
I think you're Jimmy.
Yeah. What people see on my video is me, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I can't force myself to be more animated. I just can't do it. It wouldn't be real at that point if I did do that.
Von Hills, you are right.
Hammerhead, we will stay here. I'm staying put. Wade's okay in small doses only. Mike Manford. Wade is a good dude, and
I don't have any doubts about that.
yeah, he's a heck of a guy. See Wade's last video. Apologize. Wade's got some stuff going on behind the scenes that no one really knows about. That, I mean, it's not bad stuff. It's great stuff, but it's stressful. And so I'm sure Wade's plate is very full.
I'm in the witness protection program, so I have to have the shade over my eyes to conceal the identity of me. My name's not Randy.
Whatever.
I'm just here portraying someone else.
Jason Heltz, I love watching Wade, but I think he needs his Xanax or a Valium at times. Now, what you guys see in my videos is, I mean, if you were sitting across from me at a table at a restaurant, that's same Jimmy.
Yeah.
Or if, Randy was sitting across the table from me, but Randy doesn't ever come visit.
Neither does Jimmy. That's a weird thing about it.
I know, it's a two-way street, isn't it?
The road travels in both directions, but neither one of us go that way. And even when Jimmy does come down this way, he skips over to the highway just 15 miles to the west of me, Just he can't take the short route home and go by my house. He has to take the longer route home.
Last few times I've gone by your house, I wasn't able to go into your neighborhood because I was in the crane. Chris Conkle says, dude, yeah, I operated for almost a year and was a rigger for a few. It's super serious and stressful. The pressure of working downtown big cities and the tower that made me go another route. Yeah, I stay out of tower cranes. I didn't get this physique by climbing up a whole bunch of ladders. Barry says, check my last comment, Randy. Randy, did you check Barry's last comment?
Oh yeah, I was about the wagon. I don't get the wagons part of it, but 200. If that's 240 cars that got away, that's.
Sandy said before he came over here, he's watching Big Deal 18. Looks like he's got himself one of those bendy wrist contraptions for his mini. I saw that on Instagram. I haven't watched his videos or Wade's videos. I haven't watched hardly any videos for quite a while. We just been crazy busy. Jason Helsley just now subbed to Randy's channel.
Darn. 240 cars on the loose. That is nothing to even snicker about. That's serious stuff right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of mass moving.
That's let's see, 240 cars at 100. That's 24,000 feet. What are we looking at there? That's close to 4 miles. Can you imagine 4 miles of a train just?
Yeah, without any control. I wonder who forgot to set the handbrakes. Hammerhead's got to go eat. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Hammerhead.
Cat Jaybird, yeah, they do actually run trains by remote with nobody on them. Those are pretty fail-safe, except for when I take over one and it doesn't have any fail-safes on it, and I run the train off the track onto another railroad's line, like through the dirt and back up onto the tracks. Stuff like that does happen.
So how many people we got watching that aren't subscribed to G4 Outdoors yet?
I've been I got my steady over 1,500 subscribers now. It was bouncing from 1,503 to 1,497. So I'm steady above 1,500 now.
That's good. It's consistently growing.
Mr. 2,500.
I'm not at 2,500.
What are you at?
2336, I think. Unless anybody, I may have lost some on this live stream because I was 15 minutes late getting on here.
4.5 miles on that train. My goodness.
Alex Williamson's Blind Adventures. How are you doing tonight, Alex? And my apologies on that video where I put everything in super fast forward.
That is unbelievable. Can you think of a 4.5 mile train just running?
No.
Wow. 4x4. I am a train crew man. I'm a conductor for Union Pacific Railroad. Run from Kansas City to Jefferson City and vice versa. Yeah, the remote controls, they've been around for 15 years now in my area, and they still haven't got all the bugs worked out. You just can't not trust computers in some things.
I put a lot of faith in the computers in the old crane.
They have fail safes, but they can be bypassed easily and not on your own accord. It can just sometimes stuff happens. I wanted to send you some videos the other day of how stuff can go wrong in your area that's no fault of your own, but I didn't want to spread that negativity out there, so I didn't.
What, on me?
Yeah.
Oh, like crane accidents?
Yeah.
I've been asked about crane accidents, and typically when a crane goes over, someone made a mistake.
Well, it's not necessarily a mistake. It doesn't even have to be your fault. And are you all right to bring that in here?
What? Talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
All right. When you're double lifting those bridges, you're doing everything to the T on your side.
Yeah.
The other guy doesn't work for your company. Well, yeah, a mistake can be avoided. So I'm kind of getting off point. But the other guy on the other side works for another company. You guys are communicating 100%. You guys know what's going on 100%, but his cables are out of inspection or they're not up to par. Just something that anything inside his machine can go. He lets loose, you're going to let loose, and none of that has to do with you.
Not necessarily. If his end drops, my end's not necessarily going to drop me. Because when you're doing a 2-crane pick, you're limited to 75% of your capacity. And that 75% of your capacity is only a portion of what the crane's tested to. So the cranes are tested to 110%, but you're only allowed 75% of 100%. So there's a pretty big safety margin in there when you're doing a 2-crane pick. So like on those videos where I'm setting those bridge beams with 2 cranes, if he dropped his end, I probably wouldn't drop my end. It would shock load me, but I don't think I would drop it. It wouldn't turn me over. If that's what you're wondering.
Yeah, the stuff I was watching was a little heavier than the bridges you were lifting. They were big projects.
Well, and it may have been people pushing the envelope too. They may have been going outside that 75%, which is the standard.
But that ratio changes. I mean, if the other one, let's say the cable breaks on the other one, you're running something that is, I'm just guessing off of the video I saw, you're running something that's about 75 yards wide. You have 2 of your pieces of equipment on each side of it. One of them breaks loose, and that piece, I don't know how heavy it is. It was heavy. It breaks off from his equipment and falls down into the hole. Now you're reaching way down into a hole that your machine just can't hold. That I know what I'm saying. It's probably not coming across very clear though.
Well, I would have to physically try to. What would happen if his end broke loose? Here, crane here and a crane here.
Mm-hmm.
If his end broke loose, it's going to drop like this.
Correct.
So my radius isn't going to change.
But there's I guess you would call that a shock load.
It would shock load the crane, but it wouldn't turn me over.
Mm.
That's why that 75% is what it is. So am I missing a bunch of stuff on the
Victor, the little bit of a stall in the hangout there.
Yeah.
For some reason, the engine automatically went to throttle notch 8, which that's a little suspect to me in itself. But other than that, there should be fail safes on the engine to where it will shut off in 50 seconds, which that fail safe wasn't there, obviously. So that's kind of one of my points. There's a fail safe that's supposed to stop that train that didn't.
Hey there, Rogue Excavating. I'm trying to get caught up on some comments here. And Chris Conkle says crane accidents can happen at any time. You have to rely on your riggers and spotters. Chris Conkle also says it's a rigger's responsibility here to inspect the cables and guarantee the loads are secure. The operator, usually an indie contractor, relies on you. And let's see. Jimmy's Tractor says I could do commentary on some of the more newsworthy crane failures. He'd like to see it from my point of view. And I mean, I checked most of those out that happen, and I could break it down and tell you what caused it. Victor the Ripper, when the load hit your crane, sending you out flying hundreds of feet. Not necessarily.
I'm just running across that comment. You do, you already read it, but you do a commentary on some of the more newsworthy crane failures. I'd like to see it from your point of view. I would like to see a video of Jimmy reacts.
I don't know how I can do that though without copyright infringement.
It's informational, so you can put the video up in the corner without volume or anything, and it could be for informative or educational purposes.
So I can do that legally and not get a copyright strike?
I'm almost sure.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a whirl. If I can go back and revisit some of the ones that have happened. I'm not going to sit here and wish that someone turns a crane over so I can do a commentary on it. I mean, that's too, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Jason Heltzley. That is a true story in the sense that everything in that movie has happened, but not at one time. They took all of the worst case scenarios and put it all into one movement. Yeah, and you can even monetize it. Fair use, like news situations. Thank you, Jimmy Stractor.
Okay. I'll leave it up to subscribers. You guys pick one that you want me to do a commentary on. Send the link to my email to the Top Crane, and I'll see if I can throw one together.
Von Heels, how are you supposed to stop a train safely if you lose your brakes? The answer I got out of a conductor here was jump. Jumping depends on your train speed. I would say, okay, here's a rule of the day. If you're running, it's too late. So I used to get on and off moving equipment at 10 miles an hour, and that's kind of tough. Once you get to 15, that's when you're rolling. If you're rolling in ballast, you are in a world of hurt. Jumping off a train is not a joke. That's when your fight or flight kicks in, like level 1000. If you're jumping at anything over 30 with nothing to jump into, you're dead anyway. The safest place to go is in the second engine. If you look at any wreck, any wreck, the second engine is usually the only engine that is safe. So if you know that you're coming up on 6 feet under, you don't have much time to react. Once you're at that point, there's nothing you can do once your brakes run out. Territory depending anyway.
So it seems like everybody wants me to start with Big Blue. I would have a tough time doing that one, and not because of why it failed, but the results of the failure. 3 people died in that. So that's one of those crane accidents that I would just soon it kind of faded off into the distance and let those people rest in peace and not keep digging that one up. I mean, I can tell you what happened. The crane failed because of wind load. So that's, if you guys want to pick one where people weren't killed, then I'll be glad to talk about that. But if someone lost their life in an accident, I'd just soon let those people rest in peace and not keep digging that one up.
To a sense, but are there any videos out there besides the OSHA, like any OSHA videos on training of that scenario? Are there any other videos out there, people on your perspective, saying how this happened, where they failed, in respect to those people?
I don't know. I've seen some video of that accident, but I don't know if there's commentary on it or not. But the three fatalities, it was iron workers in a man basket on another crane. And when that crane went over, it fell into that other crane and man basket. And those three iron workers fell and died.
Let's see. Your screen name is Nebraska, which is country to me. 4x4, which is country to me. Why didn't they go to the second or third loco? I'm assuming that you know all about something about horses. So let me ask you, if you're on a bucking horse and you know that they are on a dead run trying to buck you off, why don't you just jump off? It's that kind of mentality. You know what to do, but your butt is in a bind and you're heading for something. You lose focus. You cannot be level-headed and say, hey, let's get back there at 60 miles an hour. It's just one of those things that you've got time to think, but you don't.
Yeah, I've told people on job site, if you see me running, you better keep up. I get asked that too. Would I bail or would I ride it out? And it depends.
It's just one of those things that I'll tell you when it happens.
Yeah, I hope I never have to make that decision, but there's a lot of factors at play.
But yeah, I've been in a couple of train accidents. I'm not going to say two of them were my fault, but I did have to jump off of a moving locomotive at 10 miles an hour, me and my foreman. And we're engines that night, but you wouldn't think that you would literally jump off the platform of an engine. And it's just one of those things. You don't know what you're going to do until it happens.
You know, I've still got that picture you sent me quite a while back of that bobcat wadded up in the knuckle on the front of that locomotive.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bobcat machine, a bobcat, the animal.
Yeah, I was trying to think. When did we hit that? Yeah.
That's been quite a while back.
Oh, wow. Nebraska, I'm sure you already said that. You work for CSX, or was that someone else? And the Laramie sub sounds so familiar.
Chris Conkle Vlogs nails it. We put our lives on the line every day, and a lot of crazy stuff happens. Be safe. That's a fact. Every day we go to work might not, that might be the day you don't come home.
And he works for Union Pacific.
Cut and clean TV. Oh my God, it's Randy with G4.
Oh, it's Andy. Not that everybody needs to go subscribe to Cut and Clean TV, but that is a partner of mine on G4 Outdoors. He kind of brings some comedy. He makes my long videos not so long.
Andy's a good dude, even though he did outfish me. I give him home field advantage on that. Jimmy's Tractor Museum Fire School played the recordings from building where 7 trapped. Ooh, that'd be no good.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear that.
What's that?
The recordings.
If you guys don't know, Randy owns dogs. Also, by the way, don't call me your life partner.
Did I? I sure hope I didn't say life partner.
No, you said I think partner on G4. Can't clean home field. You were camping there. I just swung by. I think you fish there more than I do, though. That's all right. He was killing him with a rubber worm. I wouldn't say killing him. He probably caught 5 or 6 that day, but I only caught 1.
Oh, up. What lake was that?
Andy can tell you.
Oh man, I know the name of it.
It's at a state park.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a lake that he always fishes. So don't let him fool you. That is home field for him.
Watkins Mill.
Yeah. Yep.
So what else does everybody want to talk about? We've been going now for, wow, is it really already 20 after 7?
Whoops.
Told you weren't going to get off here at 7. Tanya's going to be mad at you.
Nah, she's doing something on the computer.
Yeah.
Doing something on the computer.
That's why you're lagging every now and then. You're probably running out of data.
I don't run out.
Okay, you're probably using up your bandwidth.
Oh. Yeah, I did have 3. Had a guy watching your live right next to me.
Jason Helsley, you should all come fish Kentucky and Berkeley with me sometime. I'd love to. I just don't know when I'm going to make it to Kentucky.
Cut and Clean had a quite the fiasco last night. Had some guy on the loose out in his neighborhood.
Oh, that's fun.
Pew-pewing up the neighborhood.
Doing some shooting, were they?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, I'm going to summarize it. He was breaking into cars, then he wound up shooting. I think that the cops drove by Andy's house with the spotlights, and as soon as they took the spotlights off, Andy saw a guy in one of his cameras run away from his house.
Huh.
No, I'm sorry. I'm in the witness protection program. Cut and Clean.
Can Randy buy a light? Nebraska 4x4, what's the sketchiest load I've ever done? The one that I was most concerned about coming apart is we pulled a modular house off of a basement that had been through a fire. And they wanted to try to reuse the basement, so we had to get the house off of the basement. And I was afraid it was going to come apart. The lift that's made me the most nervous, Mike Manfred nailed it right there, the cell phone tower. That's the one that's made me the most nervous.
Why did that make you nervous? That was just a tall lift.
It was also almost a max pick. So I was almost at capacity and pulling that thing up 300 plus feet in the air. So imagine balancing a weight on the end of a piece of spaghetti. That's how it starts reacting when you get that load clear to the top. Everything starts getting real flimsy and moves around a lot. And you're pretty vulnerable when you have that much weight that high up. If something starts happening, you can't get away from it. You're married to it.
Mm-hmm.
So heavy stuff up high makes me nervous. And wind, true story. 2 days before we had all that jib topping that cell phone tower out, when I got hit with that 44-mile-an-hour wind in the side, and I had 43 feet of jib and 197 feet of main, so I had 240 feet of boom up with a tip height of almost 250. Butterhead 1 Engine 1, how are you doing? Jennifer Murtha Stevens, how are you doing, Jennifer Murtha Stevens? There's Mike Wells. Really, Jimmy? GM Paint Shop. Mike Manfred, stick head between his legs and kiss your bug goodbye. And Mike was actually with me up there on that cell phone tower job, and he was off in the distance recording for me. And Mike can attest, it was pretty sketchy looking. A lot of deflection and just one of those things.
So are you in the control compartment acting like, when you hold a baseball bat? So are you in the control compartment actually trying to stay under that load, or you just hold it still?
No, you just do everything really slow. And, the slightest breeze affects you at that point. So you are kind of fighting some of that. And if the load does start moving around, you are trying to stay right over the top of it. So there's a lot going on. A lot of stress. Rogue Excavating Stanley Dirt Monkey didn't like my comment on his video today. Jason Heltzley asks, this is for both of you. What is your favorite species of fish to catch and eat? Crappie.
Catfish.
Couldn't think. Jimmy, you gonna come fix my boat ever? I thought you already fixed it, Andy. Let's see. Motorhead 1 engine, 1 pick and carry, fun on rubber. In a Brody, it's not bad. Sandy.
Did you comment on one of Stan's videos today? Jimmy?
What's that? Did I?
Yeah.
No, this Rogue Excavating commented that he commented on one of Stanley's videos, and Stanley didn't like it.
His comment. All right.
I'm not subscribed to Stanley.
Liar.
I'm not subscribed to Stanley. Not anymore. Motorhead 1 engine 1 says a lot of deflection on tube type hydro booms, not so much on lattice. That's true. Getting clean, gonna need a big turbo. Maybe Andy will let me cut a hole in his boat. I've been working on Mike to let me cut a hole in his boat and put a jet ski engine in it. And Mike just won't let me do it. So maybe Andy will let me put a couple 100-horse jet ski engine in the back of his boat.
I think you've had your opportunity several times.
To what?
As many boats as you've had.
Oh. Let's see. That's a good question. Von Hill says, what do you have to do differently to keep everyone safe when you're working within the radius of another crane? Beyond, make sure you don't swing into each other. That's pretty much it. You communicate with the other operator beforehand so you guys know where you're going to be. And then you keep an eye on the other crane to make sure you don't end up sword fighting. Typically, the crane that's making the pick has the right of way. So if I was lifting something and there was a crane with an empty hook, it would be expected of him to get out of the way and let me make my pick. So the crane with a load has the right of way. If both cranes have a load, my rule of thumb is the crane with the most capacity is the winner, because if it comes down to sword fighting, the bigger crane's going to win.
So you sword fight with other crane operators?
Randy, I knew you were going to go there.
Just asking.
Rainbowzo Clown said, and 2-block alarm going off too. What did I miss one of Rainbowzo Clown's other comments? Mike Manford, biggest load wins. That's a fact. Just like on the highway, the one with the most lug nuts wins. Jimmy, why don't you pay me to film and edit for you so I can have a job this winter and make your video game go sky high? I'll give you 10% of my YouTube earnings.
Oh, I thought you were going to offer 10% of something else. I was going to volunteer.
What, 10% of my paycheck?
Yeah.
No. 10% of my YouTube money.
Come on, just one video.
What?
Yeah. Never mind.
Mark Mortensen, have I ever had an issue with another crane operator? I have. I've had to have discussions with people. But I'm typically, well, it depends on the situation, but I'm typically very tactful. Unless if someone's having a complete stupid attack, then it's tact goes right out the window. But if I've got to go talk to someone about something, then I'm typically tactful about it, because people sometimes just don't understand. But then, like, we ran into a deal yesterday. Mike, having good signal man is a must when multi-cranes are working. That's a fact. But the job we were on yesterday, there was a guy in a pickup that just would not get out of the way. Mike told him once, Rich told him once, and then finally I jumped out of the crane and had a discussion with the guy. And then finally I yelled out the door of the crane while I was honking my horn to have a discussion with the guy. And my discussion at that point wasn't very tactful. Let's see. Von Heel says, I see a lot of videos and pictures of two cranes working together, normally one with a man basket and one with the item being put in place. I would think you would want to avoid near capacity lifts then. I mean, when other cranes are in the area, it's pretty much just business as usual. Everybody's very professional about it, and we respect each other's space. I've got some videos. I don't know if I've even uploaded them, but I've got some footage of my crane boom, and Mike was in our 50-ton boom truck with the jib on it and a man basket on it, and our boom tips are within 3 inches of each other. There's a lot of trust between operators, and I won't get that close to another crane if I don't know that other operator. But I've worked long enough with Mike that we can kind of tell what each other's thinking. We kind of know what our next move's going to be, each of us. And so I don't have a problem getting that close when Mike's in the seat of the other crane, or, some of our other operators. A lot of it is working history with the other people. And then, on one of our jobs, they had a big crawler out there, and that's in some of my videos. And that operator, when he's out there by himself, he moves pretty fast. But when other cranes got around, he slowed down. So I will pay attention, if I can, to what the other operators are doing before I set my crane up. And if they start getting a little rowdy, then I make a judgment call accordingly. Let's see.
Motorheads, is that an actual term, critical lift?
It is. It is. A critical lift is anytime you have man basket work, or some places are calling more than 75% of your chart a critical lift. Nebraska 44x4, is there a maintenance interval to change the locking valve on the boom cylinder? There's not. It's one of those you just hope it doesn't fail. But holding valves are pretty robust anyway, and the ones in the boom cylinders and the outrigger cylinders and stuff on those cranes are probably way oversized for what they need to be as far as capacity of the holding valve. James Bergeron just hooked up his truck to the crane hook and forcibly moved him out of the way. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't just rig up someone's pickup and fly them around. Yeah, Motorhead 1-inch one, outrigger valves, spooky critical. They definitely are. Actually, any of them are. Every system on a crane is pretty critical.
Sure, he can.
Am I physically capable? Yes, I'm physically capable of rigging up someone's truck and moving them, but
It will be your last pick.
not necessarily. It just depends. If I called our owner and said, hey, this guy just completely refused to get out of the way and he was holding us up from doing our job, so I rigged his truck and didn't do any damage and I moved it, he might not take issue with that. Jimmy's tractor, can you spin 360 like an excavator? Yeah, the crane will spin 360 all day long.
No, I did not. Quit bugging me about it. I have to watch some guy's shoulder, and the cinema screen was kind of at this angle. Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
Mike says, no, we move the buses trucks with a forklift. Yeah, we sometimes encounter some people of below average intelligence. Those are typically the ones we have to have discussions with. That would be a cool ride. I've never picked up a vehicle with a crane. I'm not saying I wouldn't either. Everything's all going to be dependent on the situation. A motorhead one, engine one. Some government jobs require a pre-lift plan on paper. And I get that on some job sites too. Andy, really? Completely sidetracked me there. I learned to operate heavy machinery by watching Dirt Monkey. Andy really wants me to bag on him bad, doesn't he? I know Andy's buddies with him. Like they room together when they travel to the same places. They probably eat off each other's plate, share a plate of spaghetti, but
Oh, I got some good philosophizations for you.
no, Andy, I did not learn from Dirt Monkey. If you're really going to ask that question. Mike Manfred, Ron Pratt can show me how. I know how to move vehicles. I just don't. I've never done it. I've never been put in a situation where I had to pick up someone's vehicle. Von Heels, I like people with below average intelligence. They provide me with a job for 2 years, as my job was to make sure they didn't do anything stupid. Sometimes you just got to let people do something stupid so they learn not to do it again. I mean, I'm a big proponent of removing all the warning labels off of things and letting natural selection take over. I mean, realistically, like, why does a blender have to have a warning on top of the lid that says not to put your hands in it? If a person can't physically see the blades in the bottom of it spinning at 3,000 RPM and they want to put their hands in there with them, then they deserve to do that. And then we deserve to see it on the news. Cut and clean TV. It cracks me up. The lawn care community thinks he's a god. He's not a bad dude, just a douche sometimes. All right, Andy. Rip the top off of it. Here's the thing with Stan. He might be a great guy, but some of the stuff that he's put on YouTube is absolutely fake. He doesn't know anything about the heavy equipment, like the loader video. He posted a video on how to teach people how to operate a loader. Well, how can you teach someone how to operate something if you can't do it yourself? I mean, I don't get it. So if Stanley would stick with anything smaller than his blacked out skid loader, I think he'll be fine. But if he ventures on to anything above and beyond that, some people that really know what they're talking about with heavy equipment are going to call him out and make him look like an idiot. And that has happened on more than one occasion. So, rant over. My apologies. Everybody had to listen to that for like the 47th time.
So Jason Heldsley is a EMS?
Yes, paramedic.
That's cool. Thank you. Hope I never see you. In the line of work anyway.
Von. Yeah, Von Heels. One example was a guy about to cut his fingers off because they were assembling culverts with excavators, and he decided to wrap his fingers around the ends to line them up with each other. I mean, that's self-critiquing. you hate to see a guy lop his fingers off. I mean, there are times when people just need to endure something to realize, hey, I need to not do that. Soldier of Dirt. Soldier of Dirt, happy Veterans Day to you, my friend. Soldier Dirt must be LOLing my Stanley rant.
First comment of his I've seen. Thanks for joining. Never seen your name before.
Yeah, he's Soldier of Dirt's also on the old Instagram. He's pretty active on Instagram.
You've been posting quite a bit. I don't get on there very much, but you post quite a few pictures.
Out there for a while, I was trying to do one every day, and I sometimes forget to check Instagram. But yeah, I stay pretty tuned into Instagram. But to me, it seems like a good way to maybe help build my channel, my YouTube channel. But we'll see how it goes. I think I've got 107 people following me on there now.
Yeah, I've tried Instagram. I post my YouTube video screenshots on there, tell people to go watch it, but I don't see a correlation between Instagram and YouTube. I don't think people really go over there. Unless you get over 10,000 subscribers, then you can have actual, like you can tell people swipe up, go watch my video. Which some people are fortunate enough to have over 10,000 subscribers on Instagram to do that. But otherwise, I just don't see the profitability of Instagram.
I figure it's just one more place to get my channel name out there. I mean, like for instance, yesterday's job when I had 186 feet of main out and the 43 feet of jib on it, and I was making a pick at 207 feet. The boom had quite a bit of deflection in it, kind of looked like a fly rod. So one of my hashtags on that picture on Instagram was fly rod. And I ended up with 6 fly fishermen subscribing to my Instagram channel.
So I didn't even notice. So you have gotten into hashtagging your stuff?
I have. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I think 1 or 2 of those guys probably jumped on my YouTube and subscribed to my YouTube channel because within a few minutes of posting that picture, I had a few more subscribers on YouTube. So, I don't know. YouTube's all about getting your name out there. It's a numbers game. The more people you put your channel name in front of, the more videos that you upload, the more success you're going to have with it. I think there's even channels that upload crappy stuff and they have a lot of success because they upload a ton of it.
Can I recommend a really good channel for you?
As long as it's not Dirt Monkey.
How to Basics.
How to Basics. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I think everybody deserves the chance to at least watch one video of How to Basics.
Another really good one that's up and coming that just got started and is, well, I can't say just got started. I guess he's been around for about a year, but has grown ridiculously fast in the last few months. Machine Thinking. If you guys are into basically anything to do with machines, I think it's a channel that's got some backing from some kind of major, I don't know if it's like the History Channel or something, but yeah, right here, Jimmy's Tractor, his new favorite. The guy's channel gained 70,000 subs in 2 weeks. And if you watch his videos, it's like watching a History Channel episode.
What his name is? Too Bad Jen the Hairdresser? I'm lost.
What?
What's the channel name?
The channel name's Machine Thinking. It's unreal. His footage is unreal. It's like watching a TV series.
See, How To Basics has 12 million subscribers.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what I'd do with 12 million subscribers. Well, I know one thing. I wouldn't be able to read comments because they'd be coming up so fast you wouldn't be able to keep up with them.
Holy cow.
But
They went from 2,000 to 70,000 in 2 weeks,
yes,
and he's only been on for 4 months.
I looked at his channel. He posted his first video almost 11 months ago, but then he was kind of off for a while and back on. But yeah, that channel grew. It grew really fast, but it's interesting content, and he's very good at narration. And yeah, it's a good channel. It's one to go check out.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit the subscribe button.
What, on Machine Thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. And another reason why I think he's got some kind of backing is he talks about the first micrometer. And I think it was James Watt's micrometer. He got access to that in the basement of some museum in France. Now, I couldn't just call a museum in France and say, hey, I've got a YouTube channel with 2,000 subscribers. Can I come in and fiddle fart around with James Watt's micrometer, the first one that was ever built? So I think he's got some connections.
I'm going to make a guess here. Let's go to my subscriptions real quick. No, he's still alive. How come Brandon hasn't commented for about a half hour, and then he just starts speaking up? Did he go to some other's live feed?
Brandon, I'm sure he went over to Logger Wade's.
Gosh.
Jason works a lot over at Logger Wade too, I guarantee it.
No loyalty. No loyalty at all.
It's all right. Hi, Katie Wilson. I just saw that she had commented. Elite Earthworks, I grew almost that quick. Elite is growing. Elite's knocking on the door of 800 now, I think, or maybe a little more.
There was another machinist that I got started into watching. He has some pretty good stuff. A little boring at times, but I'll let you know when I find him.
Sandy said, to be honest, Jimmy, most museums probably would if you worked with them. And okay, so did he just fly to France to play with that micrometer in the basement of that Paris museum? I mean, maybe the guy was already over there for something else. I don't know. I think he's got some backing from somewhere. Jimmy's Tractor doesn't think so, but I just don't know how a person does that. You know, I think the guy's in the United States. He talks with no accent. So maybe he did just jump on a plane and fly over to Paris to play with that micrometer. I don't know, but probably my favorite machinist on the YouTube is Johnny Q90.
And John Dirt just picked him out for me. I was getting ready to say it.
What's that?
At A-Bomb 79.
I haven't watched any of his stuff. Why haven't I watched any of his stuff?
He's not the most entertaining guy, but he does good work.
Huh. This old Tony's a good one.
Gosh, Nebraska 44. Wouldn't that? I've said it so many times. I would have such a good channel if I could just stick a GoPro in the window or behind my head and show all the radio behavior, ambiances, everything of just taking a trip. That'd be awesome. But no, we cannot do it.
Yeah, if you could take a camera to work with you, you would crush my channel. At that point, we would have to collaborate and do a channel with cranes, trains, and I guess we'd have to throw some cars and cranes, trains, and automobiles. Or find some planes.
I'm trying to think of the brand of that lawnmower.
What, Andy's?
Yeah.
The Encore?
Yeah. Trains, cranes, and encores.
Yeah.
Drop it, crush it.
Andy says, get glasses, Cam. No one would know until you uploaded the footage. I think the railroad would figure that out pretty fast. As soon as they started talking about milepost markers and the radio chatter and someone saw the scenery, I think you would get busted pretty quick.
Yeah. Anybody that has ever run the route, they would know. Yeah. They'd know pretty quick.
I mean, I haven't done anything with the railroad since 98, 97, 98 when I was car topping. And I guarantee if I saw footage of some of the track that I went down car topping, I would still recognize it. So Elite Earthworks, what are you up to now? I think Elite's, like I said, I think he's knocking on the door at 800.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he gained 240 some subs last month, according to his Instagram post. I think he got his month review and he posted 780. So yeah, he's knocking on the door at 800.
I smell buying subscribers there. I smell it. It stinks.
Hammerhead, what is car topping? If you Google it, Google Herzog car topper.
Oh man, don't do that because it's on my other channel.
It's a modified backhoe. You climb on top of a train and unload rail cars with it.
I'm game.
You and Ray, do you want to come over and watch some Elton John videos? No, thanks. And 20,000 watch minutes from 4,000 hours. If you keep doing those live streams, you will get your minutes your watch hours pretty fast.
Yeah, the live streams will do nothing but help you.
And he does a live stream every weekend. Jason works a lot, and they end up with 35 and 40 and sometimes close to 50 subscribers watching each time.
Well, so they had that's something that I can't go to sleep to is watching or listening to you guys, but I can only watch it if it's live. I have a really hard time just sitting down watching, in Brandon's case, 6 hours and 50 minutes. Like I can't just sit down and watch his last night's podcast, if you want to call it that.
They let's see, I think it was 5 hours, and so I don't think they've done a 6 hours.
Yeah, no, it was 6 something. He just said 65. Well, that's 65. How many?
65 subscribers on last night.
Yeah, but he was on for a long time.
That's a lot of people tuned in. Those are successful live streams, especially for channels with 780 subs. And Jason's channel, I think he's knocking on the door of 500. So if they maintain that momentum, their channels are going to really be successful.
Oh, it was 4 hours and 56 minutes. Sorry. That's still, whew. Oh, wow. All of his videos are, most of his videos are tapping on 1,000. That's pretty good.
Motorhead 1 engine. OSHA approves car toppers. OSHA doesn't have any say in it because it's a specialized piece of equipment. It's been modified enough that it's not considered a backhoe anymore. Herzog's got a patent on it. They patented it back in the 70s, and there's nothing OSHA can do about it. It's a piece of rail equipment. I just caught part of Elite's live stream last night. I think I watched I was tuned into it for about 45 minutes. It's a pretty good one, especially when they start yanking out the big elephant heads, and I think Brandon's got a Batman, and I mean they get pretty riled up.
Yeah, I was definitely working at the time. And we have cell phone sniffers on trains now, so no more sneaking stuff around anymore.
Cell phone sniffers.
Yep.
So they're looking for the cell phone signal.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Plus the inward-facing cameras now.
Oh, that's even fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's even more fun. Wow. It's Cut and Clean said Elite just got to subscribe for my channel Sunday night to see if anyone goes, but dig watching machines work.
Why did that get flagged?
I don't know. Probably because it says go subscribe from my channel.
All right.
So YouTube probably thought it was spam. That or because it came from Cut and Clean. They probably just flagged Andy automatically.
This guy ain't right.
Andy, I think you'll enjoy Elite's channel if you haven't watched any of his stuff. He takes the most horrendous looking yards and turns them into a yard everybody would love to have.
As long as he doesn't walk with the GoPro without the image stabilization, his videos are actually pretty good.
Yeah, there's that.
There's been a couple of videos ago he had it mounted in the cab of his little backhoe, whatever it is, and it's up there shaking around, and he says, "Oh, Randy's going to love me for this one."
I couldn't clean up my channel's garbage YouTube channel blocker. When I typed Elite Earthworks, it blocked it. Oh, man. Shots fired.
Von Heels, what are they trying to achieve by monitoring the conductors so much? It's not monitoring us. It is for legal mitigation down the road. If something happens, they are trying everything in their power to pin everything and anything on anything other than them. So even, I don't know, let's just say at the beginning of my trip, I was tired and I took a nap. We weren't moving or anything. And then 8 hours down the road, something bad happened and brought a lawsuit upon the railroad. They'd go back through that footage, say this guy was sleeping at the beginning of the shift. He's no good. It's got to be his fault. Worst case scenario, I mean, they can just stupid stuff.
Andy said he wants Elite to come over and build a bass fishing pond in his backyard. He could do it.
Wait, is there rocks in your yard, Andy? Because Brandon doesn't dig in anything but rocks.
Oh, that's a fact. Chris Rowland, Elite is Andrew. Right out of class. Yeah, that video where he was digging through all that rock, I was cringing the whole time because I know how much that sucks.
Every video he has, there's so much rock in that ground.
He was digging some footings and scraping through. It just seemed like it was nothing but concrete. And it's so hard on the machine and the operator doing that. You bounce around there like a BB in a boxcar.
Oh, on his footings video, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can you keep a straight line or straight walls with that kind of stuff?
It sucks. And there's got to be so much trash in the ground down there in Joplin from the tornado with, all the demoed houses. And, I'm sure they just went through with dozers and started cleaning neighborhoods up. And then they want to build new houses back in those neighborhoods. Well, now you're digging up old foundations and utilities, and it's just got to be a nightmare. James Bergeron's got a question for you, Randy.
Yeah, fire away, dude.
For people that don't operate equipment and don't understand that, Elite does a heck of a good job with especially with what he's got to deal with down there on those footings. He gives himself fits over his footings because they're not as good as Digging OK's footings. But
Oh yeah, he was pounding himself in the head over that.
Yeah.
Just over and over. I know I'm not as good as Digging whatever, but
Digging OK even said on his, I think it was on his stream, that the ground that he was digging those perfect footings in, he said it was like digging through butter. What Elite's digging through, it's like trying to dig footings in a rock quarry.
Do freight trains use automatic speed controls like some of the passenger train lines now? I'm not sure about the passenger lines, but we do have automatic trains. They have to be manned. You still have to push the alerter buttons. Basically, what you do is once you hit a certain speed, you bring up this, you punch in stuff in the computer. You put it in throttle notch 8, which is pedal to the metal, and the computer takes over and takes over everything. So yeah, we do have automatic speed control, but it's been taken away. So James, my state made a law that is now illegal to take videos of trains. That's not true. Is there a way that the railroad can legally stop someone from videoing? No. A train? No. I know it's for safety reasons why they passed it. First of all, no one can. No, that's completely false. There is not. I'm going to argue with you to the end. There is no law stating that you cannot take a picture of the train. If you are in a public access area, you can take a picture or video of anything that you wish. That's called the First Amendment.
That's fact. The only limitation to that is if it's invading someone's privacy.
As long as you're in public access.
But you can't stand on a road and shoot video in someone's window with a telephoto lens. That's not legal.
All right, there are limitations to lens. Yeah, in some places you can still take the picture, but if you have a certain lens, then it runs into a
invasion of privacy.
Yes, it depends on how far you can actually go with that.
Yeah, but if you're in public property, you can shoot video of anything as long as you're not invading someone's privacy.
Von Hills, yes, that is correct on your sentence there. What's the difference between a train engineer and a train conductor? One's smart, one's an idiot. But no, the engineer, well, the engineer is the driver. So he does everything that a vehicle operator would do, and I am the passenger. I ensure that the driver is doing everything he's supposed to be doing. I handle the radio, and even though they get paid more than me, the conductors are actually in charge of the train.
Nebraska for before he steers the train. But back to James Bergeron's deal, and someone even said this: if you're on the railroad right away, if you are on their property, then they can stop you from doing that. At that point, you're no longer on public property.
Yes, and I fix everything that goes well to the best of my ability. I try and fix everything that's wrong with the train. But most of the time, I just get off and walk, and if I see something, I call the management up and say, "Hey, it's broke. Come fix it."
Jason Heltzley, Randy typically runs coal train, don't you?
No, it's changing. Our route used to be a really good route where we just run through freight, like coal trains. They just run from coal plant to coal mine back and forth. But now we've gotten a lot of trains that. What was your question? Yes, it's all freight.
He said, what kind of freight do you typically move?
What kind of freight do I typically move? on Uline. Okay, I would say 50% of it's coal. The rest of it is just consumer goods, grain, and we get occasionally the really fun ones is government trains. That's when we handle bombs, live bombs. And then the really special train is, you're probably going to have to help me with this, Jimmy. The nuclear reactor, we handle the waste product,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Depleted uranium.
That's when you have two guys on the rear of the train with guns, and you do not want to approach that train.
They move those a lot by truck too. I see them on I-29 quite a bit, actually, coming from, I'm assuming, Brandonville, Nebraska.
That's a fact, Andrew.
So you must have read Andy's comment.
The Long Island.
Jeez. Andy, now that Missouri passed medical marijuana, are you going to be moving more dope than most rappers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, super special trains. Yeah, when management gets their, they have special passenger cars that belong to management, and they put them in their little parking spots in the garage. They get those out. There is nobody more important than that passenger train.
So I just figured out that Logger Wade's live stream must be over because we're back up to 39 viewers.
Spent fuel rods. Yeah. Yeah, Cut and Clean's last comment. Yeah.
Chris Rowland, do you know what freight is in each car?
Yes. As a conductor, when I go on duty, I do. But as of right now, off duty, no, I don't.
Josh Wellner, yes, it is. Sorry. So Josh must have went over to Logger Wade and hung out for a while. I assumed I've been kind of watching the viewer count down here. I could tell when Wade started his, and then I can tell when his went away because now we're back up to 40. Woodenhead, yep. Logger Wade said goodnight.
No more money bags. I don't think anyway. Wait, Jimmy, you got a really big wrench from me, didn't you?
What?
Did I give you a really big wrench one day?
No.
Like a gigantic one?
No, I've got a gigantic crescent wrench of my own.
Thought I gave you one.
No. You have one?
No, not anymore.
Well, I don't know who you gave it to. You didn't give it to me. Josh Wellner, got to try to keep up with all of you. I would never tell you guys not to go watch Wade. And you guys go support Wade all you can support him.
Chris Rowland, I meant on duty. Is he the one that? Oh, okay.
That's one thing you guys will never get out of me is any flack for supporting other channels. I mean, I'm just here hanging out, having a good time. So you guys go do what you want to do. I don't care. James Bergeron brought that question up because I originally read it in Louisiana. Yeah, you can, James, if you want to film a train, by all means, you go film as many trains as you want. Just don't get on their property to do it. Bill Westfall sharing the viewer. John Dirt. Unless it's Stanley. I don't care if you guys watch Stanley. Get Stanley to come over here and hang out with us. That would be a good time. I'm guessing he wouldn't stick around long.
Yeah, Nebraska. I should say on my route, we don't have UPS trains, just Amtrak.
That's Von Heel's good point. Perhaps if enough of these channels get support and get big enough, some more people will be inspired to go into the trades. Then here's a little interesting tidbit. I actually talked to the superintendent of one of the local school district that my kids are in, and he's wanting me to see about coming in and talking to students about the trades. So that will probably happen at some point. I'll take a trip to the local high school and talk to a bunch of students about other things than college. Let's see. Mike Manford, we can throw dirt at the monkey. We could. I read a quote. I don't remember who said it, though. It says, when you throw dirt, you lose ground. So, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. I probably won't throw dirt, but I will probably be pretty quick to bring to his attention some of his falsities in his videos. Bill Westfall, are you sick of doing the big tanks, Jimmy? Are you guys sick of watching the big tanks? That's the real question. Because I've got more footage of a tank, and I've been reluctant to edit it because of all the tanks that I've done this year. Alex Williamson Plains Adventures. I haven't actually watched one of Wade's live streams. Wade's live streams, you got to really be paying attention because he's pretty animated. Jimmy's Tractor, get a grant to take the crane around to high schools. Actually, if our local school districts wanted us to bring the crane on site to show the students, our company would do that. Our owner is really big about trying to be involved with youth and get them involved in the trades because he understands that there's a shortage of tradespeople. So if one of the local school districts reach out to us to bring a crane, to bring the big crane up and set it up in their parking lot at the local high school, our company would do that. I would donate my time and do it off the clock if they wanted to do it. Barry Hansen said I'd make it. Well, thanks, Barry. I've had people tell me that I should be a teacher, but teaching wouldn't be my thing. Mark Mortensen, Jimmy, my brother is a high school teacher. Jimmy's Tractor, can we get a link to Stanley's channel? Sounds like good comedy. If someone wants to throw a link to Stanley's channel on here, I don't care. I heard Tanya yelling at you, Randy.
He wants me to tell a story, but I'm not going to on here.
Who does?
Andy.
Oh, tell a story about what?
A pizza outing that we had.
With Stanley?
No.
Oh.
No, windmill trains do not have priority over Amtrak. The only thing that the windmill trains have priority over is width restrictions. So if they're too wide for a certain siding that another train can't pass, then they kind of have a priority to get to the nearest siding that Amtrak is allowed to pass. So they don't really have priority in a sense, but they do have to get up. Amtrak is top. They have priority over everything. If it wasn't for Amtrak, we wouldn't have high-speed railroads like we have. They are really the only ones keeping the high-speed rails up. They don't contribute anything to it. That's all government. But if Amtrak wasn't out there running, we would all have 50-mile-an-hour tracks.
Well, I've held up an Amtrak before.
And?
They didn't have a choice. We were putting rail back together. I was on the material for they had a derail in New Mexico, and they had some Amtraks that were holed up waiting for them to get the rail put back together. And they didn't have a choice. That's the only time that a work train has ever taken precedence over an Amtrak, was because there was physically no rail in one spot.
Pizza delivery gets top priority.
Oh, funny story. The company I used to work for, a crane company, had an oiler that he was on a job and forgot his lunch, and he called and had pizza delivered to the job site for his lunch. I think they were out in the middle of nowhere, and they brought Pizza Hut or someplace brought him a pizza. And I've heard Jimmy John's will deliver about anywhere a crane is too.
Yeah, we used to have all these restaurants programmed into our phone along our route. You call about an hour ahead of time and say, "Hey, meet me down at the tracks." And they used to do it all the time, but now we can't talk on moving. We can't talk on the phone on moving trains or anything. So we don't do that anymore. If it wasn't for taxpayers, Amtrak wouldn't exist. Well, it's completely government funded, so no, they wouldn't.
Von Heels brings up a good point. The one only tradesperson that ever spoke at my high school made a statement that seemed to resonate with people. A robot can flip burgers. A robot can't plumb your house. And that's one thing. When I was talking to the superintendent of the local school district, I said, the one thing that the high school counselors that are pushing everybody to these colleges don't understand is sooner or later their toilet's not going to flush. Someone's going to have to fix that. And if you send everybody to college, those aren't going to be the people that are going to fix it.
Right. Awesome.
With the pizza delivery to the Army base?
Yeah.
I'm actually really wishing I could get Mike Rowe to check out my channel and get him involved.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
And not so much for my channel growth. I mean, that would be awesome as well. But that's one thing that even all of his Dirty Jobs episodes and all the micro works and stuff, he's played with iron workers. He's hung out with plumbers. He's hung out with electricians. He's never done anything with cranes. And, you know, the segment that I'm in, as far as a tradesperson goes, I'm not going to tell everybody what I make, but it's a pretty lucrative business. The trade that I'm in is a pretty lucrative career. So it's one that I would like to see Mike Rowe do a segment on. Hammerhead, does Mike Rowe still do that? He still does the Micro Works, which is he does oh shoot. What do they call that? When they send people to school, gives them money to go to school. He still does that. He pays for people to go to trade schools and whatnot. He doesn't do the Dirty Jobs thing anymore, though.
Like grants or something?
Yeah, grants and scholarships.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that, but he does do scholarships for people to get into trade schools. And yes, Mike Rowe does still have a show on Facebook, and he's pretty active on Instagram. And I actually sent him a big long message on Instagram and never got a response. But
well, I'm happy to see that he's moved over to YouTube.
Yes, he is on YouTube.
Now he's got the way I heard it.
Yep.
Episodes.
And I mean, like I said, I reached out to him on Facebook. I've commented on some of his stuff on Facebook, and I actually got a like from him on one of my comments on Facebook. I screenshotted it because I was pretty proud of it. But and then I've reached out to him on Instagram, and I've commented on his stuff on YouTube, and I still haven't gotten a response. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do. But I guess if I could get all of my subscribers to just start bombarding him with messages, hey, you need to go check this guy out, maybe that would do it. Or I need to call him out in a video and tag him in it and see what happens. Just like make a video about Mike Rowe.
All right, James Bergeron wants to be heard. Mike Rowe is an awesome guy. Mike Rowe had an episode with a crane. He did the billboard in Texas. I watched that episode.
Oh, how did I miss that? Or maybe I did watch and I don't remember it. Motor had one engine, one Volvo had fully automated trucks and excavator operating in a quarry, no operators. Hammerhead stalking. I don't know that they could do that with cranes. I can't say that they're not gonna at some point have like a drone style setup with a crane. But man, there's so much about running a crane that involves feeling what the crane's doing.
I can see ground control coming. Not
They've already got that. Like our Tadano, we could get a remote for it, and I could run it from outside the crane. And there's been some companies that have experimented with that, and they end up turning the crane over.
because there's no feeling in your butt.
Yeah, they can't feel what it's doing. So that crane, it's just like pump trucks, concrete pump trucks. They run those with a radio remote from outside the machine. And every now and then you hear about a pump truck that went dirty side up. MSL logging. What all have I missed? You haven't really missed much anything. We're just all sitting here chatting. Elite Earthworks, true story. I want to see an unmanned excavator digging around utilities. That would not end well, I promise. The other reason Cat Jaybird said here for long no humans will be able to work because of the remotely controls. Before long we're not going to be able to work because of all of the stupid laws that are getting written and all of the stupid standards that are being thrown out there.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Like you go to a job site now, a construction site, and I understand some of the stuff they have in place, but you literally sometimes spend 2 hours of your day just filling out paperwork before you can even start doing your work. You got to get a hot work permit if you're going to use a torch or weld or grind. You got to get a pick plan filled out before you can lift anything with any crane. If you got to do man basket work, then you got to fill out a man basket worksheet. I mean, it's crazy. Frank, what are you doing?
UP Roebuck right here.
Oh, yeah.
It actually weighs several pounds, but
You condensed it. Cut and clean, about to go dirty setup as well, going to bed. Good night, Andy. Sleep well with the crazies in your neighborhood.
see you, Andy.
They're pushing for full automation and artificial intelligence to eliminate workers. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty if they do it in the equipment realm.
I've actually got 2 rule books in my backpack. One is a very, very small print, fine print book, then a full size book. I do have all my paperwork that I carry with me.
Are you required?
No.
Oh. Jimmy's tractor, they need to start repealing laws. They need to start getting some people with common sense to write the laws. And unfortunately, everybody that's writing the laws thinks that we can just put everybody in bubble wrap and still get the job done. But, I don't see it. When Budweiser had the first driverless truck delivery. That doesn't sound very safe. A truck full of beer with no driver.
Fawn Hills, they tried to pass a law locally that no trains could enter the county unless the engines could stop the train within 1.5 miles without assistance from the cars. I would like to see that myself. That'd be a fast little shooter.
Mike Wells is going to bed. Good night, Mike. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, good night, Mike. Be sure and check out G4 Outdoors before you go to bed.
Yeah, I don't know what the future holds. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Sooner or later, we got to get some people with common sense to start overseeing things that are going on. And I like the job sites where the safety guy comes out and tries to tell you how to do your job, even though they don't know how to do your job. It's like, how are you going to tell me what to do if you don't know how to do it?
This Josh Wellner comment is disgusting. Where's that at?
He's out in Maine.
You have to have a lifeguard to go fishing?
And it's crazy what it's gotten to. Motorhead one. His doctor's got a Tesla driverless car. Who gets tickets for speeding? I wonder how that does work out. Federal Observer. Huh. So is the Federal Observer there to make sure that they're following their rules, or are they there just to make sure that they're following like fish and game type of stuff?
Either way, that's too much overlook.
Elon Musk pays the ticket. Sandy, driver, you're still responsible for the car. I mean, there's days that I wish I had an automated crane where I could just say, hey, go do this. Brandon, Elon Musk is a con artist. That's true story, Sandy. Like people moaning because your Tesla drove in the back of a fire truck. No, you drove in the back of a fire truck. Yeah. I can imagine that there's going to be a laundry list of lawsuits when more of those Teslas hit the road and they start crashing stuff up. Just like Winnebago now has in their operator's manual, and I think most all RVs do that are like motorhomes, that you can't leave the driver's seat when the vehicle's in motion. Because some guy, I think it was in the 70s, was driving down the highway in his Winnebago, set his cruise, and got up and walked to the back of the camper and poured himself a cup of coffee and crashed. Well, duh. What do you think's going to happen? Again, get rid of the warning labels, let natural selection take over. Oh, Josh Wellner, you have to have an observer, and you have to pay for it. What a load! That sounds like it's rigged. What a load of crap!
That's unbelievable.
That's no different than St. Joe. A few years ago, they wrote a law that they can come around and tag your trees that they deem need to be cut down, and then you have to go to the city and buy a permit to remove the tree.
Right.
I mean, what kind of crap is that? If you tell me that I need to cut my tree down, then you need to at least let me do it for free.
That's permission right there.
Yeah. It's crazy. Because at that point, the city could just go around and tag every tree in the city. Be like, hey, you need to cut this down. Before you do it, you got to come buy a permit from us. Yeah, Bill Westfall, same thing with coffee cup saying caution hot. Absolutely. I mean, if you order a cup of coffee, you kind of expect it to be hot. I think you'd be upset if it wasn't, unless you order iced coffee. But I don't get it. I could go on all day about that kind of stuff.
Jimmy's tractor, you lost me at California.
Yeah, you want to talk about an overburdened state. It's insane. When we drove out to California, we actually did like the Griswold trip, and we actually followed most of the route that they took. But my navigation told me to get in the far left lane on some highway. We were driving to Newport Beach at 3 a.m. Evidently, that's a toll lane. It didn't say anything about it being a toll lane. Well, it snapped a picture of my license plate, and they sent me a bill in the mail. I think it was for $27 or something. And I guess the toll's actually like $2.50. So I called the California phone number. The lady answered the phone and said, "Well, I'll get rid of the fine if you just want to pay the $2.50." I'm like, "Well, that's fine." And she said, "However, if you're out here again and the highway patrol catches you, it's a $400 ticket or some crazy amount for driving in that lane if you don't pay the toll." And I promptly told her, I said, "Hey, I'm 38 years old or 39 years old. That's the first time I've ever been to California. I'm probably not coming back." And that was the end of it. But, I couldn't believe they gave me a ticket for driving in the wrong lane of the highway. It wasn't even an HOV lane.
Was you in the passing lane?
No, I was in the lane for my exit. It was a left exit lane. I was in the far left lane, and evidently that was a toll lane. So they basically charged me to get off at the exit I needed to get off at. Oh, I guess we're getting. Sandy said the woman who got burned actually had some severe burns from her groin and all that. I mean, I had one critically burned. The case was serious problem. Coffee was served at 200 degrees. I didn't know that part of it. But, I mean, 200 degrees, isn't that boiling at that point? And I'm not a coffee drinker. What temperature does coffee come out of the coffee pot at home? I mean, I don't.
Hot. Very hot. You know this by the steam. A lot of people can't get that, though. There needs to be a warning label on my coffee pot that says hot. That is steam.
You want to hear the creepiest warning label I've ever read?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Please do tell.
No, you said you didn't want to hear it. But everybody else wants to hear it, so I'm going to tell them. Randy, you can't hear it, though.
All right, my speaker's off.
Whatever. My wife used to have a curling iron, and there was a warning label on it that said for external use only. Who's the sick individual that made that mandatory? I mean, really. Again, if someone is dumb enough to take a hot curling iron and try to use it for internal use,
Warm could have been all right. You never know.
then they probably deserve what's going to happen.
There's nothing wrong with warm.
What, a warm curling iron? I mean, really, I don't get it. James Bergeron says, in Louisiana, it's illegal to tie your pet alligator up to a street post. Why would someone have a pet alligator? My cousin had a pet alligator for a short period of time, and that doesn't surprise me. But, I mean, why would you have a pet alligator? It's not like you're going to just lay on the couch and hang out with your pet alligator. What's the point?
I did. His name was Alan.
Alan the alligator?
Lost him a long time ago. He was a good friend. He'd just sit around and rumble all the time.
Very
Had to get rid of him after a Halloween. Some little kid thought that it was just a scary deal, went up to him, and the kid lost his arm, but it wasn't my fault. I had him tied to a light post.
Jimmy's tractor. I love to cuddle with my alligator. Well, if I encounter an alligator, I'm turning it into boots. Boots and nuggets.
Motorhead's trying to stick up for McDonald's.
He is. And that's okay. I mean, maybe they legitimately did something wrong, but I mean, when you order a cup of coffee, I would assume that it's going to be hot.
Well, when you ask for a caramel mocha, they ask you if you want that hot or cold.
And Rambozo Clown said, evidently, coffee brew temp is 205 degrees. I guess that's how you make coffee. It takes heat to extract the oils from the coffee bean. I don't know, but now since the coffee cup says caution hot, does that make it to where McDonald's is no longer responsible if you burn yourself with the coffee? Because
yes, because it doesn't say don't spill on yourself. It just says caution the liquids are hot. It doesn't say
yeah, I don't know. That could go either way, I guess. But if that's the case, why don't they have a big warning label on the side of a knife that says caution sharp?
It might be white mark practice.
It's like, yeah, that's a big.
you're getting deep.
Well, I mean, it's along the same lines. Is it not? They ought to put that on the side of those stupid bubble packages things that they're putting everything in that you can't get open with a freaking torch.
Drink at your own risk. Yes. How did we get here? I know it right. Right.
I don't know. How did we get here? Sandy said Florida signed a law a few years back that effectively made all computers and smartphones in the state illegal.
It's called My Success Day.
Oh,
What?
something we were talking about a long time ago.
If he wants to talk to students at like a career day type thing, it's called My Success Day.
My Success Day for career days.
Oh,
It's all the high school students. They're bussed in even from outside the St. Joe School District. And they bring them in for 2 or 3 days in a row.
Did that pick up
yeah.
for you anyway?
Yep. I'm picking up what she's putting down.
Smell what she's stepping in.
Yep. That's what I was just getting ready to say.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, the superintendent I met with was this Savannah School District. Actually, he subscribed to my channel. He may be watching.
Thanks, Miss Randy.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Randy. That's Miss G4 Outdoors.
G5.
G5.
Dropping it like a G6.
Oh, jeez. Oh, mercy. Jimmy's tractor is sticking up for McDonald's too. John Warren says, Jimmy, want to pick your brain? I'm stumped on this problem. You can pick. There's not much to pick, but feel free. Randy will tell you I'm not the smartest guy out there.
G5. That's pretty much how our phone conversation starts. He says hello or I say hello. Actually, I don't say hello. But Jimmy says hello. I say I have a question. He says I have an answer.
Yeah, typically. Even Andy's doing that now. When he can't get a hold of you, he calls me. He's like, hey, I got a question. I'm like, well, I have an answer. I do, for some reason, retain some stupid knowledge from time to time, but
Yeah.
there are times that I'm just baffled by some stuff, and I don't have an answer for everything. I'm curious what John Warren's problem is, though.
It's a big one. He's still typing.
Yeah, no kidding. Mark Mortensen calling everybody out on the thumbs up.
Oh, he pressured me into it. Here we go.
Hammerhead. I've always got an answer. Might not be the correct one. Okay, let's see. Lost heat in his truck in the cab. Have heat in the bunk. New thermostats. New heater hoses. I'm assuming losing no antifreeze. Okay. There is, on a lot of those trucks, there is a valve in there where you can divert your coolant from bunk to cab and vice versa. I wonder if that is causing the issue, or you may have a plugged heater core. So it depends. I'm not sure what truck you're running, and I'm not sure if it would have that valve. Some of them had it where you could divert all of your heat to the bunk for when you're sleeping and have your curtain pulled. But
How and why do you know that?
because I've worked on big trucks. But also, I'm going to guess if you don't have that valve, I'm going to guess your heater core is plugged up. And I actually have footage in a video that I can edit. I worked on my daughter's car last weekend because her heater wasn't working. And I had to go to the old Harbor Freight and buy a little 1/10 horsepower, 110 volt pump. And I flushed her heater core both directions for about an hour and a half with CLR. And now her heater, you could bake brownies on her seat. So I'll, if you want to see that video, I can.
Did you put a warning label on it?
No,
That's
but I need to.
hot. That is pretty hot.
The air coming out of the vent's so hot you can't keep your hand in front of it.
What is this little machine that you got? Because I seriously need a flushing of my entire system.
What, your cooling system
Mm-hmm.
on your Toyota?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Toyota. Trade it in.
No, I still have 500,000 miles to go.
On your Taco.
Uh-huh.
It's just a little 110 volt pump. It's not anything special.
What is it pumping?
What I did on hers, I isolated the heater core and made a continuous loop with a bucket in that pump. And I pumped a mixture of 1 gallon of CLR and 1 gallon of hot water continuously through her heater core with that pump. I ran it one direction for a while, and then I reversed it and flushed it out the other direction for a little while. And I actually recorded it.
Too much work. That was way too much work.
Well, my daughter's got to have heat. Can't have her driving around the wintertime with no way to defrost her windshield. So,
yeah, that's the way my truck was last year. I'd leave it out in the parking lot running for a while, go out there. The windows were still frosty, and it wouldn't heat up until I revved it up a little bit.
Okay, then your heater core is probably getting plugged.
I was pretty low on antifreeze.
Well, that will do it too.
With no leakage.
Huh.
Yeah.
Pull your dipstick. What's it look like?
Well, my oil's good. I ran it for 15,000 miles last time.
Okay. Well, if you're losing antifreeze, it's got to be going somewhere. It's either going.
That's what I thought. I don't know where it's going though. It hasn't went anywhere since. That was that 7 years, 7-year-old antifreeze. That's why I'm saying I need. You rotted out the heater core.
That's what they used to do with radiators back in the day. They'd pull the tanks off of them and actually physically shove rods through the cores and then put the tanks back on. And that's how they would unclog them. Jimmy's Tractor asks, my daughter drives a 2002 Jeep Liberty.
Well, same one, or did she get one of her own?
No, the blue one. We used to have that silver one.
Okay, a different one.
It's a different one. The silver one we had was a 2005. That was actually a fun little rig, especially after I put a lift on it in Swampers. But
That must have been right after the Ranger.
no, that was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 vehicles after the Ranger.
Was it the same tires, or do you know?
Same style, but a little smaller.
Hmm.
The biggest you can put on a Jeep Liberty without doing a solid axle swap is 321150. Jimmy's tractor does she miss the Swampers? My daughter never had Swampers on her Liberty. My wife used to have a 2005 Jeep Liberty Renegade, and then we bought her a different car, and I took over the old Liberty Renegade and put a lift on it and 32-inch Swampers. Let's see. All right, I missed one of John's. Thanks for pointing that out. Let's see. Yeah, Hammerhead pointed out that John posted again. There's a twist. All open now. I put a new spin on. Got heat when idling. So you have heat when you're idling, but you don't have heat going down the road. What's your fan doing? Like your engine cooling fan? Is it stuck engaged? Because it should. Your cooling fan should disengage when it's below a certain temp. When your coolant's below a certain temp, and then when your temperature comes up, your fan should engage. But the only reason why I'm saying that is if you're going down the road with your fan running, just the act of the air blowing through the radiator would cool your coolant down too far.
Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. Off. Yep. Nope.
Fans off. Heat when idling. No heat when you're. At what RPM does the heat start going away? Like right off of idle, like at 1,000 or?
Yeah, that'll make
too, Rich. That sounds like the fan was stuck on.
It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, typically it will not have heat at idle, and then Richard need a winter front. Are you in it right now, John?
13, 14.
Okay, 1400 RPM is when it's losing heat. I'm guessing that too, Hammerhead. The heater core is partially clogged and is limiting it. If it's partially clogged, what coolant is going through it is going through it faster than what can heat the heater core up, I'm guessing. And
Sandy, have a good one. Thanks for all the input.
Oh, yeah, thanks for stopping in, Sandy. And I'm working on this problem in my head. You guys can probably see the gears turning.
Just hear them. We hear them.
That's the only thing I can think is the heater core. That's the only suspect thing is the heater core. Unless, and I've seen this crazy deal happen before, a head gasket, and it wasn't losing coolant into the cylinder or into the crankcase. What it was doing is combustion gases were going into the cooling system and was trapping a bunch of air in the system, and it was basically aerating the coolant. And when you aerate the coolant doesn't have as much contact with like the heater core surfaces and the radiator surfaces, so it couldn't transfer its heat to the heater core. Richard Leo, I smell smoke. I would almost bet $1 to a dime though that you got something going on with the heater core. Especially given the fact that you've got heat in your bunk, but none up front. And it's 2 separate heater cores. So for some reason or another, you are losing flow through that heater core in the front. Not that either, Jimmy. No bubbles. Where are you? You're up in Iowa. How far away are you from me? 3 hours, maybe? If you bring it down here, bring it without a trailer, because my neighborhood is not big truck friendly. If you get it down here, I'll work on it.
No bubbles, no troubles.
I bet if you use a temp gun, if you have access to a temp gun, if you shoot the heater hoses going into and coming out of that heater core, the heater hose on the return side is going to be pretty cold because of lack of flow.
Jimmy, I'm going to have to jump off of here. I got an early morning.
All righty, bud. Thanks for jumping on and entertaining everybody with me.
So thanks for having me on. I appreciate that. Thanks for everybody for the engagement. Good conversations with all of you. I will stop back on here some other time, but Jimmy, thanks again for having me on. Everybody, if you haven't, please stop by and visit G4 Outdoors on the YouTubes. I have several videos out on fishing and shooting. That's going to be slowing down here in a little bit, but nonetheless, they will be out. I'm not a constant mass uploader, but hey, I got the videos out there. Some of them are better than others, but stop by, give it a visit. If you like it, hit the subscribe button, leave some comments. And G5, thank you. Anyways, thanks everybody for sticking around. I appreciate everything. Anyway, stop by G4 Outdoors, hit the like button, hit the comment button, leave a comment down below. We'll see you in the next one. See you, Jimmy.
Bye, Randy. All right, now you guys are just stuck with me. Me trying to figure out John's problem. So he says his coolant's 160 and 50 pounds. If you have bubbles coming up through your coolant, probably combustion gases entering. So if there's no bubbles coming up through your coolant, audio is bad. My audio is bad. Really? How about now? Hang on a second. All right. My audio is still bad. I don't know what happened. Randy messed me up. How about now? Better? Still bad? Same? Fixed pretty much, but not totally. Let's try this. How about now? Good now? All right, there we go. It must have been something with Randy. Maybe Randy was trying to sabotage me or something. I don't know. I had to go in and change my settings, my microphone settings. So, all right. Glad we got that fixed. Probably lost a few viewers. I sounded like Papa Smurf. Well, that's no good. Huh. I'm still perplexed by John Warren's truck heater issue. Do you have air-operated heater controls? Because I wonder if there's a possibility that, well, but no, that should be consistent if your air pressure is consistent. I don't know. Without having it right in front of me, I don't know. I know what I would. Let's see, James Bergeron just thought of something else could be with the heater. Lay it on us. Between all of us on here, we've got some pretty decent combined knowledge. So let's see what we come up with. Josh, he said he's got new thermostats. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're good. And Rambozo Clown, look for valves in the heater lines. That's the same thing I thought of too, as far as sometimes they have a diverter valve for diverting back to the bunk and vice versa. And sometimes they just have them where you can close them off for the summer. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventures. I'm probably the only guy that doesn't know anything about that sort of thing. Well, if you stick around long enough, you'll probably learn some about it. Jason Helsley, that's a good point. Could have gotten a bad one out of the box. And I've seen stranger things happen. John, being a big truck, it wouldn't be vacuum operated. Diesel engines don't generate vacuum. But some of them have air operated controls run off the air system. James said he wondered if the filter in the cab could be plugged up and stop it from getting air through them. But then he wouldn't have heated idle. He's got heated idle, but he's losing it at around, I think he said 1,800 RPM. I still think you got a heater core issue. A heater core issue, or for some reason, it's just not getting the flow through the heater core when it's at a higher RPM. When the coolant's really flowing, for some reason, it's not making its way through that heater core. Mark Mortensen, I've seen thermostats put in backwards. You've moved the heater hoses for better heat, like moved them to a different port on the engine, or if you can, what's the possibility of switching the coolant or the heater hoses from the bunk unit to the cab unit and vice versa, and see if the problem is still replicated on the bunk circuit? So like take your bunk heater hoses and connect them to your cab heater core, then take your cab heater hoses and connect them to your bunk heater core, then see if the problem moves with it. Now, Richard, he's the impeller problems. I thought about that too, but he's got good heat in the bunk all the time. So it's only the cab heat that's affected. His bunk heat's unaffected. Okay, so you switched the heater hoses from the cab circuit to the bunk circuit, and the bunk circuit to the cab circuit, and the problem didn't follow when you switched the hoses. That's got to be the heater core. That's the only common denominator that didn't get moved, was the heater core. If you moved your coolant flow from the bunk to the cab and from the cab to the bunk, and the problem didn't go along with it, then it's not a flow issue from the heater hoses. It's a flow issue inside the dash. You've isolated it at that point. It's got to be the heater core. That's the best I can come up with. If you you're going to lose some coolant doing this if you're willing to try it. If you know which line is the outlet side of your heater core, if you disconnect that line while it's running and see how much flow you have coming out of it, and then stand on the throttle and see how much flow you have coming out of it, I'm guessing you're probably going to see a drop in flow. And it's probably because the extra coolant flow is basically getting balled up right there trying to get through a clogged heater core. So if your heater core is somewhat restricted with a lower flow of coolant, I would think that the coolant could make its way through there. But as you increase the velocity of the coolant, you're also going to cause cavitation inside of the partially clogged heater core, and that would make your heat go away. Yeah, that's got to be it's got to be the heater core. You're going to find, I bet you pull that heater core out of there and put your new one in. I bet if you use a bandsaw and you cut that heater core in half, you're going to see that thing's probably caked with crap. Chris Rowland, I don't think it makes a difference if he's driving or just sitting. Like if he's sitting stationary, as soon as the throttle gets up to a certain point, he starts losing heat. And it's got to be. At this point, I would bet $100 to $1 bill that it's a heater core. I'm so confident in that. If you brought it down here, I will put a heater core in it for you. You have to pay for the heater core though, but I'll put it in for you for free. Richard said, we just drive from the bunk. Well, I guess you could give it a whirl. Like I said, if you do bring it down, just don't bring it with a trailer, because my neighborhood is not big truck friendly. I live at the end of I live basically on a cul-de-sac, and it's got trees in the middle of it, and I have trouble getting my 36-foot camper around it. Von Heels, would you recommend replacing the core or just flushing it first? Honestly, with the success that I had with my daughter's car last weekend with flushing it, I would flush it first. And I flushed hers with CLR, and Jimmy's Tractor just said you can flush it with 35 bomb hydrochloric acid, which you can. Just know that you have to get all that out of there, because hydrochloric acid is not very friendly to aluminum. And that's what I was a little leery of doing. I was gonna do the hydrochloric acid on my daughter's car, and I scared myself away from it. That's why I used the CLR. But let's see. Thinking about makeup air vent at speed, more air through core. I mean that could be. Yeah, Hammerhead said, don't run the CLR through your engine. Absolutely. And Jimmy's Tractor said, then flush with 10% soda, and that would neutralize any hydrochloric acid that was in there. But what I did with my daughter's car, and I'll get the video, I'll actually edit that and post it tomorrow. There's going to be some people that probably don't like it, because I didn't do all that good a job with shooting the footage of it. It was just kind of a, hey, I'm going to do this and see what happens. But I'll do that tomorrow so you can see what I actually did, and you could probably replicate it on that truck. John Warren, you can make it in here at 13.6. It's just getting back out of here with the road that I'm on. So it's not a height issue. It's a length issue, length and maneuverability issue. But if you want, well, one, I'll post that video tomorrow. I'll make it happen. It may be late in the day or even tomorrow night before I get it uploaded. That way you can see what I did and you can do the same thing on that truck. And if you still aren't confident in doing it, if you want to bring it down, we can try to flush it first using that same method. And if that still doesn't do it, then we'll tear into it and we'll put a heater core in it. My neighbors would enjoy seeing a big truck come in here, though. Yeah, Hammerhead said, "Let us know what the verdict is, John," because we're all curious now. It's actually probably going to keep me awake at night for a little bit. That's just kind of the way that stuff happens. I'll get to thinking about a problem and I'll actually lose a little sleep over it. Class 8 in my driveway. Yeah. My neighbors, I'm not gonna lie, we live in a fairly high-end neighborhood. I couldn't do it by myself. There's no way. But my wife's a nurse practitioner, so that definitely helps on that part of it. And if you watch the video of where I trenched through my front yard with my pressure washer, then you kind of get a glimpse of my neighborhood. But I'm sure my neighbors would love to see a semi rolling down the street. But guess who doesn't care? This guy. Von Heels. Cranes, trains, and diagnostic support. This live stream has it all. And John, if you don't have, well, you evidently have a heat gun or a temp gun, because I asked you what temperatures were, and you said 150 and 160 and 150. So I was going to say, if you don't have one, pick one up. They're pretty reasonable nowadays, and they can save a lot of headaches. I mean, you can use them for diagnosing a bad injector, or you got a bearing that's giving you fits, all kinds of stuff. Rich Sautalito, and hunting, fishing, and model railroading. Yep. Rich has got some model railroad videos. He's pretty big into that. When I say pretty big, he sent me some pictures. What'd you say you had for model railroad locomotives? Like 150 of them or something? It was some insane amount. And at some point, I actually want to get into it and build a little set, but nothing like what Rich's got. So who else has vehicle issues? If we can keep me awake at night with a heater issue, let's see what else we can try to keep me awake at night with. And actually, I just realized it's 10 after 9. I was going to give you guys a little extra time anyway because I was so late getting on here, but we've, holy smokes. Rich has got 430 model railroad locomotives. So I way undershot that. Josh Wilner, if he pulls in your neighborhood video and he has to have the Jake brake on. Heck yeah, dude. If you're going to pull that truck into my neighborhood, you need to come rolling down the street about 50, drop it into the lowest gear that it'll tolerate, and just crank the Jakes. I mean, if you're going to come in here, we just as well let everybody know you're here. John Warren, 2-stroke popping through intake 871. You're full of the questions tonight. Let's see, Jason Helsley, what would cause the heat in AC from blowing through the front vents, but it blows out the defroster under the dash? That is the valve that can, like the directional valve or the door inside the air box that is not diverting the flow of air. Hammerhead said had a 5-liter Ford that was burping back through the coolant reservoir. Never have figured that one out. Typically, if it's burping through the coolant reservoir, you're getting combustion gases into your cooling system. Woofy W. Only auto issue I have is I don't have a vehicle. That would do it. John Warren. Okay, train horns too? I don't care. We've only lived in this house for, that'll be 2 years in March. And before we even put an offer on the house, I went door to door and met everybody in the neighborhood just to make sure that I wasn't getting myself into a neighborhood that I would not enjoy. And everybody in here seems to be pretty laid back. The train horns might upset a few, but you know, as long as you're not out there at 3 a.m. hanging on your air horn, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Hammerhead, Jason Hilsley, you have something to keep the valve from opening. I had, yep. That's what, I mean, it's the air diverter valve in there is either bad or something is not opening and closing the door that transfers the air from vents and up to defrost and all that good stuff. Got train horn and the train whistle. Then again, with the price of fuel nowadays, that might be a good thing. Actually, the price of gas has gone down. I'm still kind of mulling over that two-stroke popping up through the intake on an 871. It sounds like you may have cam. That's two-stroke. Never mind. No cam. Timing issue? Maybe. Injector pump timing issue, possibly. Josh Wellner, wife's spare tire pressure sensor keeps going bad on her Jeep. Some of those spare tire pressure sensors, some of those sensors have to be in motion occasionally. Oh, my battery is at 4%. So yeah, my phone is almost dead. But Rich sent me a picture of all of his locomotives for his model trains. Let's see if it'll focus on that. Oh, now my battery's at 3%. That's even better. Come on, focus. It's not focusing very well. That's a lot of model engines. John Warren, it's a turn liner on an 871. Huh. I didn't think of a turn liner. Let's see. I got a whole bunch of texts. All right, it is 9:15, so I've been going for 3 hours. We'll answer Hammerhead's question real quick, though. Inside of a diesel engine, or most diesel engines, they have a sleeve. That's the cylinder that the piston goes inside of. The sleeves are interchangeable, or you can take them out and replace them. That way, if they get damaged or worn, you don't have to trash the whole engine block. You just pop the liner or the cylinder out and put a new one in and take off trucking again. So it's a cylinder liner is what they call it. And on the 2-strokes, they have ports in the side of them. And that's, yeah, there you go. Yeah, we know them as sleeves. Same thing. Blue Line Landworks, how are you doing, Blue Line? I'm curious, how's your channel growth now? You had that, I'm sure that one video is well over 100,000 views now. We want to get some awesome footage tomorrow. I can't wait to see it. He gets some awesome drone footage. $140,000 views on that video. That's awesome. And that video it's a neat video. Steep slope timber harvester. That'll make some pretty good content. That'll probably go over 140,000 views. Did they get you monetized yet? I know I think you were in review. It's one of 12 machines in the world. Make sure you if that's going to be one of those videos you think is going to go through the roof, you might hang on to that footage and release it after you get monetized. Now, upload some other stuff until then, but if you think that that's one that's going to go crazy, you might hang on to that footage. That way you get paid for every view that it gets. But congratulations on the success of your channel. I knew it was going to take off. But I probably would sandbag that footage. I know you probably really want to get it out there because it's awesome stuff, but I think I would wait. If Jimmy's Tractor's still on here, I would like to see him put his 2 cents in on that, because for those that don't know, and I've said it for a long time, and yes, you can monetize your old videos, but you don't get paid for the views that they got before you were monetized. So that video that you got 140,000 views on, once your channel gets monetized, you don't get paid for that 140,000 views that it's already gotten. You only get paid for what it's getting as far as views after you're monetized. So I would, I'd be curious to see what Jimmy's Tractor says about that, but I think I'd hang on to it. And like what I was getting ready to say, Jimmy's Tractor has been doing this YouTube thing for a long time, and he is insanely good with the numbers part of it and the analytics part of it. So yeah. Blue Line asked, have I got a check yet? I actually have. In all of my YouTube career, I have made $140 on YouTube. That's what they've deposited so far. Actually, I did $105 last month, and so that will probably get deposited this month. But so it really, if you break it down, I've made $249 in 8 months and 118 videos. So if you figure that per hour of editing and collecting footage and doing all the YouTube stuff, I've probably made 2 or 3 cents an hour. Blue Line, I told my wife I was going to make pennies. Sooner or later, it will go. I do have Super Chat enabled. Blue Line asked about that. If you look at the on the super chat icon down there, if you click, don't click it if you don't want to donate money. But the super chat icon, if a person clicks on that, then they can donate money to your channel, and it actually helps channels grow too, because it keeps your comment at the top of the comments section for a determined length of time based on how much money you've given. But I've donated money to Logger Wade. I've donated money to Andy with Cut and Clean, and I'll typically donate here and there to people that are really working their butts off on their YouTube stuff, because that's my way of saying, hey, thanks for doing what you're doing. I know you're not getting much from YouTube, so here's an extra $5 or $10. And even with super chat, if someone donates $10 to super chat, the person that has the channel only gets about $6 of it. So YouTube takes $4. Blue Line, I know gamers use it a lot, and I know I've seen it. My son watches a lot of gaming stuff, and some of those gamers, man, they're getting nailed with super chats. They've got to be making $300 and $400 per stream just on super chats. Yeah, Barry Hanson, don't give up your day job. Hammerhead, how does YouTube pay so much per view? It's so much per view, and there's a lot of variables that go into it. It's how many ads are on the video, if people have clicked the ads, but what it amounts to is it's not much. Each view is less than a penny. Chris Rowland, how does YouTube collect the donation? So what happens if someone clicks the super chat icon, like right now, someone clicked it, what happens is that person transfers that money to my AdSense account automatically, and then YouTube collects their part of it before they ever send me my part of it. And then YouTube doesn't, I've got my threshold set at the minimum, which is $100. Anytime my channel generates more than $100, then they will put that money into my account. But I think you can use credit cards, you can use Google Pay, you can use PayPal, all that stuff for super chat. And what it does is it just transfers, like say you donated $10, and that $10 transfers from whatever method you used and goes to Google, and then Google gives me a portion into my AdSense account. Hope that makes sense. But YouTube is a marathon. It's not very seldom do channels jump on YouTube and start generating a lot of income immediately. Jimmy's Tractor just sent me a link the other night of a car channel. I don't remember how many subscribers he's got, but he's getting $35,000 a month on YouTube. That's significant, but it takes a long time to get to that point. And James said he actually gained 4 subscribers up to 31. It just keep plugging away at it. Don't compare yourself to other channels. That's a lot of people get caught up in that and they get frustrated. People who are trying to grow a channel will get caught up in, hey, this channel grew such and such, or gained this many subscribers in this amount of time. Don't compare yourself to other channels. Every channel grows at its own rate. Oh, well, thanks for that, Blue Line. So now everybody can see. So Blue Line threw $5 in there, and now his comment is going to stay up there, and you guys can probably see the timer clicking down at the, well, I can see it on my chat window, but that timer's clicking down. So if he were, like, say he were to throw $100 up there, and don't do it, please, but if he were to, that timer would be running at a snail's pace. So it keeps his comment in the mainstream where everybody can see it for that predetermined length of time. And that's why gaming channels get a lot of super chats, is because people know that a lot of those gaming channels have a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers. So they're paying money to try to build their channel, their subscriber base. They're trying to keep their channel name in front of all of those people that are commenting. So that's why you see so many super chats on the gaming channels. But I mean, it is a decent way to grow a channel, because like I said earlier, it's all about growing your YouTube channel, is all about getting your name out there and producing content. So the more content you have on your channel, that's more opportunities for people to find you. And then the more you're engaged in other channels, comments. Leader Earthworks back, got the boy to bed. But the more you're engaged in other channels, comments, the more you're engaged in live streams, that's more opportunities for people to see your channel name. And Blue Line said, I saw a millennial farmer make a few $100 in 20 minutes. And it's not uncommon. I mean, if AVE did a live stream, I bet he would get blown up with money. But he'd never be able to follow the comments. He's got so many subscribers and so many loyal subscribers that watch his stuff. He would get blown up with super chats. Hey, Jordan Hatley. Woofy W says, from what he's heard on other channels, YouTube takes 40% of the cut each super chat. I'd rather cut the person money order if I was able and just make sure they got 100% of it. Well, and that's the thing with the super chat. It's an easy way. 60% of $10 is better than nothing, is better than 0% of $10 or $5. So it's an easy way for people to donate to a channel or just to get their channel name out. And really, what will grow a channel the most is consistency. And I've been terrible with consistency lately because we've been so busy. But if you can do 2 to 3 videos a week, that will really help catapult your channel. And YouTube knows that you're producing content. And so they're going to be more tempted to throw it out in front of a bigger audience to see how it does. But YouTube keeps track of all your analytics, and that's how they determine, just like thumbs ups on videos or comments. The more comments and likes, even dislikes, the more audience interaction YouTube gets on a video, the more they put it in front of other people. Blue Line says, unrelated, do you know why some people don't like Cotton Top? I've seen it in other channels, live feeds, and in comments. I've never watched Cotton Top. So I can't give an honest opinion on that. I'm probably going to get hammered for this one, but I've watched some of Buck and Billy Ray, and I didn't subscribe to that because it wasn't entertaining to me, but that's my opinion. It doesn't really follow what I do. But on the flip side of that, neither does Logger Wade, as far as his channel doesn't really pertain to what I do. But Logger Wade's personality, and especially after getting to know him, is what keeps me tuned in to Logger Wade's channel. But as far as Cop Top, I don't know. I haven't watched any of his stuff. Blue Line Logger Wade is a comedian, and then true, he knows how to entertain, and it's not that he's trying to entertain, because I can assure you guys he's like that in person. Even when there's no camera around, he's still the same person. He knows how to entertain because of his personality. That's just the way he is. Well, there you go. Hammerhead gave you your answer. Yes, chipper guy's good. Blue Line, I'm not sure if Wade and Stevie made up. I've been so busy, I haven't watched hardly anybody's stuff. Yeah, chipper guys, he's good. Yeah, I mean, you asked for why people aren't watching Cotton Top. There's a few examples. I mean, that's doesn't get much more cut and dried than that. And that's why you guys don't see me pushing merchandise. So I did on a few videos, and that was only because people were asking for it, and that was the end of it. You guys can obviously tell that it's available. I mean, I'm wearing it. Brandon's bought Elite Earthworks. You know, he's bought some shirts off of Teespring from me and stuff, but I don't push it. John Warren, Wade, and Stevie made up on the stream tonight. So that, I mean, I'm a pretty laid back guy. I'm one of those guys that just rolls with it, and whatever you guys do, you do. And I'm not going to say, hey, you need to buy my stuff. You need to click that super chat. I just don't do that. There's channels out there that do, and that's not what it's about. Hey, Dalton Feeks, how are you doing? John Warren's got one of my shirts. Hammerhead, we now know who left the stream to watch Wade. And like I said earlier, I don't care. I would encourage you guys to go support Wade. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's all about supporting each other. And just like with John Warren's problem with his truck, helping each other out. Maybe people learning a little bit of stuff here and there, and just enjoying yourself. To me, this is a fun hobby. It takes up a lot of time, but it's I could be doing worse things for sure. Von Heels, I have ran some RTs. I've ran 150 tons, 100 tons, 90 tons, 60 ton RTs, Groves, link belts, Tadanos. Hammerhead, I was watching both at the same time. Brandon, sorry, Jimmy, I was watching Wade's live stream too. Josh Wellner, I did too. And like I said, I would encourage you guys to. If you guys were on my stream and Wade started up a live stream and you guys said, hey, would you mind if I go over there? I'd be like, dude, what are you doing here? Go watch Wade. Brandon asks, are there any TV shows that feature cranes? Occasionally there'll be some stuff on the History Channel or the Science Channel, but there's no TV shows that I know of that are just geared towards cranes. And I don't know if it's because crane work is sometimes boring. I don't know. I don't know why that is. If anybody's got connections with some TV producer, send them my way. Dalton Feeks, Wade and I actually did a live stream together in his kitchen. And we're going to travel down that way again over spring break. So I'm sure that'll happen again. I'll see about getting Wade on a live stream on my channel one night. I was on one of his, not only the time that I was at his house, but he did a live stream where I was on his channel as well. It was either his or it might have been on Dickard with Dave. But live streaming in Wade's kitchen, Lead Earthworks said it was crazy. It was crazy. I don't know that it was crazy. It may have been chaos. John Moore, that was a crazy night with both. It was. Rich, he had stuff for sale. Any plans yet to come to Chicago? We were talking about it, and then this cold weather kind of ran us out. We will make it up to Chicago. It's not that far away. I would like to think we'll make it up there when it gets a little nicer. Probably early spring. We'll see what happens. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventure. There are actually a couple kids' construction TV shows that had some serious crane jobs back in the 90s. Hammerhead that I gained I did gain some subscribers from his live stream that night. It was, I'm guessing, the amount of subscribers I picked up from Wade's recommendation, then also from his live streams and stuff, probably around 400, I'm guessing, total from Wade. Let's see, Von Hill's crawler cranes always scare me when I see them operating near banks ever since we had bank giveaway on excavator. But I hate to have, yeah, that. You definitely have to be careful when anytime you're working around excavation or slopes, any of that stuff. Barry Hansen, everyone talked over each other, which spoiled it. Yeah, that was a crazy stream. It was we were about half sauced. And in order, when Wade gets into the champion juice, in order to get a word in, you about got to talk over him. Blue Line said 60% of my subs came from that viral video. And that's the best way to gain subscribers, because you're gaining them organically that way. So that means that they saw your channel, they saw that video, they liked what you were doing, and they want to see more of your channel, more videos like it. So if you can follow that kind of same trend on your video production, that is what will really grow your channel. Getting subscribers from recommendations and shout outs and stuff is fine as long as people are actually engaged in what you're doing. So like I said, 400 or so subscribers came from Logger Wade. That's fine for a channel like mine, because although I'm not a logger, it still deals with equipment. There's a little bit of knowledge thrown around here and there. So the subscriber likes are pretty similar between the same people who are going to watch Wade and watch me. Now with Blue Line stuff, he's got equipment, he's got drone footage and whatnot. So his appeals to a similar audience to Wade's, but his drone footage puts him to the next level. And if he can keep growing subscribers based specifically on them watching his video and clicking the subscribe button, that is a good way to grow a channel. Brandon, this channel was recommended by YouTube. Found it back in May. Well, that's good to know that. Man, I just started my channel in February. So it's good to know that YouTube was throwing me out there. Brandon found Wade's channel through mine. That's awesome. I bet Wade would love to hear that. But yeah, like Blue Line said, it's the same genre essentially. It's like country music and country music, or rock music and rock music. It's along the same lines. Von Heels, I first saw your name on Ron Pratt's comments, but Wade's live stream is what pushed me to come see what your videos were about. And Ron Pratt's another one of those channels that I watch. I have, like I said, I haven't been able to watch him as much because of how busy we've been, but I really like what Ron does, and I really like Ron's attitude. I see a lot of the same people at various channels without a strong connection. I do see it at times too. Like, you guys will see me on AVE's comments. If you watch AVE, you'll see me sometimes on How Ridiculous, because I do watch some of their stuff. What's some of the other ones? I can't think of them off the top of my head, but Brandon believes the first video he saw of mine was live with G4. Rainbows will kind of like hearing you mention Machine Thinking's a good channel. James Family from Let's Dig and Ron Pratt. Ron Pratt gets a little excited at times. Josh Wellner might actually, the video that has the most views, and it's almost 5,000, I think, and that's the cell phone tower video. But I attribute that to that's the video that pops up and starts automatically playing whenever a new person comes to my channel. So that's part of that. The video that gets the most views, just because people are looking for it, is the Shackles video. Alex Williamson kind of said it's kind of funny story about how he found my channel. I'm curious how you did find it. Let's see. Jason Hiltsey, if I run any piece of equipment other than a crane, what would it be? And he found me through Wade. Probably an excavator. If I wasn't in a crane, I would probably be competition to Let's Dig's channel. See, Brandon, VCG Construction's a channel I watch, where a lot of the same people are channels that are not similar. It's like they built a community on YouTube, and that's essentially what subscriber bases are, is just a community. John Warren says Ron Pratt's an excellent person. He's done business with him before. Anytime he's in the area, he stops to have him perform what's needed done. James Bergeron's been a huge fan, and I appreciate that, James. And James he's been right there since the beginning, and a lot of you guys have. Blue Line said he's averaging 3,000 views a day. That's a good thing. He said he's averaging 3,000 views a day, which he can't figure out because he hasn't posted in 2 weeks. If you're getting that many views a day, that is spectacular. That means you're probably going to end up being one of those channels with 600,000 or 700,000 subscribers. Like Von Heel says, like Ron's approach, not complaining about things, instead just focusing on how to get the job done. True story. Blue Line, the streams are the favorite part of the channel. And Josh Wellner just stumbled across me through Wade. And I enjoy doing the live streams because it gives me interaction with you guys in real time, where I still comment on every comment that I get. I know there's going to be a time I won't be able to, but I still do. But this gives me the opportunity to interact with you guys in real time. And if you haven't noticed, I like working through problems like John Warren's issue with his truck. And I like, educating people. Yeah, and James Bergeron said, like I said before, I consider you a friend now. I consider a leader. Earthworks and Jason Works a lot friends now after being on their live streams. And really, Wade said it in one of his videos or one of his live streams. It almost turns into a family. And it kind of really does. It almost turns into like a big extended family. People start, Hammerhead Jimmy, when you get famous, will you remember us? Absolutely. I absolutely will. But I forgot what I was going to say now. Something about, I think I was talking about family, whatever. Oh, what it is, people start caring about each other. And that's why I said it almost turns into a family. Because just like with Rich's heart issues and Gary Johnson with his heart attack and his wife being ill and James Bergeron's mom having shoulder surgery, and, you know, people start caring about each other and then asking, hey, how's this part of your life doing, or how's this family member doing, and that to me is exciting to watch. And I even see it in the comments amongst yourselves, not so much me asking, hey, how's this person doing? You guys will start checking on each other, and it's neat to see that stuff happening. Elite and Jason are good. They're great guys. And Rich, Savalio, and Elite, and Jason and we all talk pretty regularly. And I mean, I'll talk to anybody. You guys can tell I can be pretty long-winded at times. Von Heels, I hope YouTube promotes your hydraulics video. A lot of really good information there. Von Heels, that's going to be dependent on how many people watch it, give it a thumbs up or comment. But it'll stay out there circulating in the World Wide Web, and people will continue to stumble across it every so often. Jimmy's Tractor Marathon Show, Phil and I really, and you're still going. Yeah, probably not for a whole lot longer, but. So Jimmy's Tractor, I want to get your opinion on something. Blue Line Landworks is going to be shooting some footage of a machine that's only one of 12 in the world. He's got another video that has 140,000 views and still going, and he's not monetized yet. What do you think he should do as far as that video he's getting ready to shoot? He thinks it's going to go somewhat viral. I told him he should probably sit on the footage and wait until he's monetized. Jimmy's Tractor, most friendly YouTuber I've met, and I've met some friendly ones. Who's that? Me? I didn't know I was the most friendly YouTuber. Barry Hansen starts being one great family, which is great for lonely people. Well, Barry, if you're a lonely person, bring yourself to the United States. You can come hang out with, we'll get some people together. Well, you can hang out with Brandon with Elite. We'll get Jason Works a lot in here. Try to get Wade over. Let's see. James Bergeron said after the surgery, mom developed a condition called complex regional pain syndrome. That's no good that it slowed her recovery. Hopefully she pulls through it. Keep me posted on how that turns out. Jason, let's see. How can we get your shirts, Jimmy? I left it all through Teespring. So the way to get one of my shirts is through Teespring. However, I did figure out on Teespring, if you go into Teespring and you search To the Top Crane, I don't know that anything comes up unless you select, for some reason, hoodies. But I've got T-shirts and hoodies on there. And I think if you look around, you'll find it on Von Heels, I've not seen anything like a steerable buck on Blue Line's videos. Is that a specialty piece of equipment, or is that common? I just haven't seen. I had never seen one either, Von Heels, and it. I would not want to be the one driving that trailer, but that's the one that's gotten 140,000 plus views. Lead Earthworks, definitely buried. Jimmy's tractor. If I were Blue Line, I'd put it up when it hits 4,000. When he's already got his 4,000 hours and he's got over 1,000 subs. His channel right now is in review. James Burron, that's not good news. Hopefully your mom gets through that okay. Okay, so Blue Line said he's in review for the past month or so. I would say within the next few weeks, you're probably going to be monetized. I think it took about 6 to 8 weeks for him to get my channel review done. So I would like to think they're further along in that process, so it ought to be happening pretty soon. Well, there you go, Blue Line. And I would put a lot of emphasis in Jimmy's Tractor's advice on this YouTubing stuff, as far as how the analytics stuff runs and monetization and all that. So, like you said, he would wait a couple weeks and just do an extra good job of editing. And as soon as your channel is monetized, make that the first video that goes up, and just make it a spectacular one, hit it out of the park, and the sky's the limit at that point. But we are closing in on 10 o'clock my time, and I have to get up and go to work in the morning. So I got to get up about 5:30 or so. I might get some video, some footage. We got to do some service on some equipment. I might shoot some video of that and see about uploading it. But the video I'm going to get out tomorrow will be the one of flushing the heater core on my daughter's car, so John Warren can watch it, see if he wants to try that on his truck before we rip his dash apart. Jimmy's Tractor Jimmy was about 4 to 6 weeks. It took about 6 to 8 weeks to get my channel review done. Chris Ziegler, look up Stephen Cox. You look like his older brother. Stephen Cox on YouTube. Barry Hansen, I'll see you on the next. Well, I guess I won't see you on the next live stream. You guys will see me, but look forward to all the comments. And like I said, Thanksgiving weekend, which is when my next live stream would normally be scheduled, I am not going to be available for that one. So we're going to push it to the following week. And that's when we're going to make a definitive decision on this axe, on how we're going to handle that. But we're going to do an auction type deal on this double bitted axe that I've got. So 9:54 p.m. here. Looks like Lead Earthworks got to go to bed soon. Yeah. I enjoy every one of you guys. Thanks for making this channel what it is. And this is like I always say, this is your guys' channel. If there's something you want to see, let me know. I'll do my best to make a video of it. Don't forget to click the old thumbs up button. It does help the channel. And thanks for spreading the word. I mean, my channel is obviously growing because you guys are telling people about it. So I appreciate that greatly. But I'm going to go get ready for bed. We'll show that link. because I'll click on it after this and check it out for a second. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been another long one. It wasn't 6 hours, and I'm probably not going to do that again. But look, you guys always keep me humble, and I appreciate it. With that, To the Top Crane is out.